What's up, everybody? Not quite Bob Cooney.
Nope.
Not quite. I'll try my best to replace him for the next 4 hours. I'm Ray Dunn alongside Amy Fadul. Amy, how are we doing today?
I'm great. Beautiful day outside. Way to start the holiday weekend.
I'm riding the high of the holiday weekend.
I can tell you got it's Hawaiian shirt day here.
Yeah, it is. I didn't know. There was a couple of things that I was talking to Andrew and John about. I had a gut feeling that they were going to have Buster Olney on today. I told them last night, I was like, you know who I think is going to be on that morning show? They had not talked to them.
Really?
They had Buster on. First thing I heard when I got my car today, them tease Buster Olney. I was like, wow, that's... Andrew and I are thinking way too on the same page.
Simpatico right there.
And then I walked in, and I was like, all right, I guess we're all in the Hawaiian shirt.
Hawaiian shirt day.
We're feeling good. It's the holiday
Why
weekend.
wouldn't you?
We should. And
Phillies are on a roll.
Oh, they are. And that's where we're going to start the conversation today. I'm looking forward to it. We got Josh Saffron producing today. Looking forward to talking to him. Josh, how we doing?
Fantastic. Ready for a great Memorial Day weekend right here in the studio.
All right.
Yeah, buddy.
That's enough from Josh. We had the thing yesterday where Bob was like trying to limit his mic time. So, Josh, we'll get you. We'll talk to you.
Poor Josh.
Yeah, no, it's okay. But you mentioned the feel good of the Phillies, and we got some Eagle stuff that we talked to Brian Dawkins yesterday, and it happened right at the end of the show. There's so much I wanted to react to from it, so we're going to look at some of that stuff today. There's a Sixers thought that I have that
I like this one.
Yeah, it just kind of hit me the other day, and I was like, all right, we're gonna talk with Amy about this one on Friday. But we have to start with the Phillies.
Of course.
Every conversation in this city should begin with the Phillies now. I love it because everywhere I go now, it's someone trying to talk to me about this team. And if you talked to me even a week and a half ago, I think my tune sounded a little bit different because I'm always excited about this team. Like we had the conversation off the air before the show of like, yeah, I could talk myself into any Phillies team because it's the Phillies. But a week and a half ago, we ran a poll about whether you thought they were going to surpass the franchise record for wins. And I remember at that time I was like, no, I don't think yet. I was like, I haven't got to that point. The way they're beating up on teams right now,
they might never lose again.
Yeah, 148-14. Let's run it. Let's
go.
Do you think they're going to win 148 games? 6-1.
Go 6-1.
But seriously, the way they're beating up on teams, and I really went in and tried to dive into this. I looked at it, and it was, what is my expectation for the regular season? Because I know we're going to get the people. I got a tweet the other day. Well, talk to me September 30th. I mean, I'm not going to remember.
Right.
I remember right now.
I will talk to you because I'll still be talking.
Yes, I will still be talking about the Phillies come September 30th. But the people that want to focus on the postseason, okay, you could be weird and do that whole thing. I want to talk strictly expectation for the regular season. And it's a thought process when we had the franchise record thing that I was like, whoa, is that something that I can really think is going to happen this year? And it was a hot streak, and I'm like, things are going well. Things are going so well right now, I think I've altered my expectation on what's going to happen. I think this is the year they do it. I really do.
They go all the way.
I thought before the season.
As far as like 100 plus.
103, 104, like they break. I mean, I know my friend is doing to calculate like 118 right now.
Yeah, it's like 117 and a half, so we just round up.
Of course. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, because,
I mean, 118's
only 30 less wins than 148. So, yeah, why not? Round it up to 118. But I've gotten to the expectation, because every time you watch this team right now, you just think, like, yes, fall behind. So, oh, yeah, you'll be fine. They're going to find a way.
And I feel like they feel like that, too, which I think is really good. And I know when people are looking at that 102-win team that wasn't that long ago, right, it's in recent memory. It's not like a team from the 20s or whatever. And they didn't win the World Series. And then I know Rob Thompson was asked about that from Matt Gelb, and it was like, oh, yeah. And Gelb, I think, set him up a little bit, and he kept getting him like, no, well, they won 112. He's like, yeah, but what? But what? And so enjoy it. I get what they're doing. They can focus on it and take game by game, but you can take game by game and enjoy this run because everything that they're doing, Edmundo Sosa, like we were texting the other night, really? Edmundo Sosa?
Edmundo Sosa right now, the numbers.
Right?
Fantastic.
His numbers are crazy. He's batting over 300. His extra base hits, his RBI. It was crazy yesterday when I looked at that box score, and there's only two people that didn't have a hit, and it was Bryson Stott and Alec Boehm, two guys who have been hit machines and RBI machines in the case of Alec Boehm. So when you have stuff like that, Christian Pache coming through with that triple, that's when you start to feel that this team is something special because a successful team needs to have everybody contribute. You see that across all sports, and I know we'll talk about that with the NBA coming up, but you're seeing that with this team, and why wouldn't you believe that this team can win 103, 104 games?
105.
100,
Let's get crazy. I feel like I'm at LeBron at the big three, like 101, 102, like just sitting here. But so I went back because I wanted to get myself really in the mind frame of 2011. Because for me, I'm not going to hide my age. You all know if you've listened to me, I'm a young guy.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you the start of 93. Those of you that lived it, I want to hear from you today at 610-632-0975. And those that lived the 76, the 77, the 101 win seasons. Like, those of you that saw that, you can contextualize it for me because there's only so much you can get by going back and looking at it. But 2011, I tried to put myself back into it. And because of how young I was at that time, it's one of those things where you're just like kind of staring. Oh, yeah, this is just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I like this a lot. This is really cool. They keep winning like this. That 2011 Phillies team, I really tried to compare numbers early on here again and schedule, yada, 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 whatever. 2011, 717 OPS for that team as a group. Now, again, you had the pitcher spot in there, a little bit different baseball.
Right. Still pretty good.
Still good. 153 home runs for the season, which was low, but I remember, Utley was out for an extended period of time. Howard was down to like 33, I think, for home runs in the season. A 3.02 ERA. We all know what the top...
Yes, that order was ridiculous.
Yeah, the top three pitchers in that rotation were all sub-3 for the season. Vance Worley became a guy. Like, you just looked at that group, and I was like, wow, those numbers are pretty outstanding. How do they compare? 2024 Phillies. 758 OPS so far as a group. They're on pace for 191 home runs, which keeps going up. A week earlier this week, I think I said they were on pace for 183, and it was a sign that they were not relying on the long ball. Well, now they're just doing both, knocking guys in, hitting home runs, whatever you like. 3.14 ERA so far in a game that now favors the offense more. Since 2011, the offense has been favored, which also inflates some of their offensive numbers. But I look at that and I was like, all right, how dominant are they so far? 2011, they swept 11 series that season. 2024, they've swept 7 already.
7 of their last 12.
In 2011, they had 30 games in which they won by 5+ runs. They're halfway there already.
Wow.
Like, this team is reaching levels of dominance that I went back to 2011. I'm trying to, like, clear my young, childish, just, like, gaga eyes at that team. And I got to tell you, I just, now living in the moment for this, rolling with this, I kind of just expect this to be the team that breaks it. I do.
And it feels like it. I mean, the numbers back it up. And when you look at it, like when you watch it, and you're talking about the expectations, the team expects that. They expect if they go down 1-0, the pitching staff will pick them up. They'll be able to, get that'll be it. The 1 or 2 runs, that'll be it. And then it's their job to obviously put runs on the board, whether it's the long ball, which we've seen a little bit more in the last, I think, week or so, week and a half. Guys that are hitting that a little bit. We know that Bryce Harper tends to go in spurts with those things. And so you can see him maybe going on a spurt again. It was nice to see Nick Castellanos go yard. Those guys, we can talk about, I know we're going to talk about Real Muto later, but absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Him in that 2-hole and what he's been able to do. He's got a 13-game hit streak. That's the longest for a catcher in the Phillies since Mike Lieberthal in 2004. I mean, which is crazy. Yeah. He's just an absolute machine. And when you look at what this team is missing, a la Trey Turner, and what he'll be when he gets back, what he was at before he left, really the only kind of gap, even if you want to call it that, or downside, is that Nick Castellanos is hitting right around 200. But you've seen flashes that you hope that he could go on a little bit of a streak so he gets his average up to 240 and not at, 206 or whatever it's at right now. But, I mean, that's what we're talking about.
Right.
We're talking about a guy that has had 5 home runs and seems to be, finding a way at times that we're nitpicking. We're looking at a backup catcher at times, and what's our right fielder doing?
What's our right fielder doing? The backup catcher, who should be the 26th man on this team. And, probably in 2 months when the trade deadline comes around, maybe another right-handed reliever.
Maybe a little arm. Yeah, because Hoffman, though, came in, not the highest leverage situation, but still a situation that could have gotten a little dicey if he didn't have his stuff.
Yeah, and that's interesting that Bob Cooney just vanished for 5 days after Hoffman comes in, takes care of business.
Oh, he's leaking oil.
Yeah.
Oh, I see a start of something.
Very interesting. You just disappear. Go off the grid, Bob. I understand. You saw Hoffman. You were like, you know what? I'm going to push this out.
That's it.
We might not see him on Wednesday.
Exactly. He might not just come back in.
Yeah, he might not come back in.
He'll just wait.
Yeah, he's just waiting for Hoffman. No.
Struggle. No.
Could you imagine?
No.
Bob's not the victory lap type of guy on that type of thing.
Definitely not. Not on something negative.
He was watching Hoffman like, yep, all right, I'm an idiot. I feel good.
Right, I was wrong, which is a good thing to be wrong about.
It's a very good thing to be wrong about, and it's why I feel like me a week and a half ago and the expectations I might have, the fact that I'm starting to feel that way, like, wow, I might have just totally understated what I'm watching and the level of dominance that I think they can hit.
Does it feel weird to feel good about it? Because I feel like some people are trepidatious when it comes to that positivity this early.
I think some people are. I think for me, I look at it as like kind of, you mentioned enjoying the ride, enjoying the moment. I try so much to keep myself grounded in that. But when I look at this team now, like it's not so much of a, oh, am I worried I'm being too positive? It's more of a, wow, that's a level, that's like a gold standard of a season that I would not just throw around. I wouldn't just want to say, oh yeah, this team's at 2011 level just because I feel like it. Like, yeah, let's really compare. No, genuinely, I'm sitting there yesterday. And it's funny. I take the walk. They make my softball teammates make fun of me. So I walk to the subway. I walk from where I am into Center City, take the subway down. It's like a nice little like kind of warm up for me.
Right.
Subway down. I play at the Navy Yard on Thursday nights. So then I have to walk from SEPTA at NRG down to the Navy Yard. So it's a nice like hearty walk, like decent commute to go down there. Because I don't like driving and
parking.
Rush hour, whole thing. And then if I want to go after the game and maybe have a couple and hang out,
no big
I
deal.
can get my
You
way
don't
home.
have your car.
Right. So it gives me a lot of time to think. And I begin my journey from Northern Liberties to the Navy Yard thinking about, the game's just gotten over. I'm getting to walk out. I'm like, this team, they probably are the most dominant. This might be the best regular season I ever witnessed. Like I'm starting to feel like that's where this is headed. And I had a lot of time to process that. Where I'm walking, I'm like, all right, hot take Ray in your mind.
Exactly.
I was like, you relax here. You're getting yourself carried away. And it was somewhere before I got on, because I walked down. I think I get on like Walnut Locust because I really just do the walk. Like
that's a hardy walk.
Yeah, it is. Trust me, all my friends. Why do you walk so much? I don't know. I don't have a lot of hobbies. Like, if I got the time to do it, I'm going to do it. You all work till 5 at night. I get out of here at 3 something. I got time to walk around. Yeah. So I got down to like the subway, and I was getting on the subway, and I was like, so the last 40 minutes I've thought about this, and I don't think I've at all changed on this. I think this is going to be the best regular season I ever witnessed.
Yeah, you didn't talk yourself out of it.
No. If anything, I talked myself more into it.
Perfect.
And then I started looking at the numbers more today, and I'm like,
you're even more in.
I'm even more in. And that's why I'm kind of curious for people, and I'll pose this to you all at 610-632-0975. There are a lot of you out there who have witnessed way more regular seasons than I have. It's just a math equation here, okay? When you look at my years of life compared to the years of life, I always joke, I don't technically fit in the target them. I'm a year younger than that the 25 range. So some of you have seen way more regular seasons than me. You hear me and you say, young kid on the radio, naive. We got it yesterday. I think it was Jim G on the YouTube chat. It was like, you haven't felt the pain that I've felt. You're right. I haven't. I've been blessed. I got a World Series and a Super Bowl before I graduated high school. And those of you that didn't know my age, congrats. Now you can start doing math in your head.
Figure it out.
Yeah. But when you look at what we have right now, and really the way I feel about this group right now, I think I'm watching the best regular season that I will see from the Phillies. For those of you out there who experienced 76, experienced 77, 93 sticks out somebody's people, especially with the start. Because I think...
Yeah, it's the start, really.
And the start, and I'm okay with, you thinking with the emotions. I'm cool with that. Fandom is ruled a lot by emotion, how you feel about something. You watch that start after the 92 season, and you think that's the greatest regular season you'll ever see, I'm fine listening to hear you say it. I won't agree with you, but I'm fine with you having that thought. Also, I didn't see it, so how can I really measure the way you felt about it? 2011. Those of you who have experienced all those seasons, I'm curious to hear from you at 610-632-0975. Do you feel like we're living in the summer we're going to talk about forever? Do you feel like we're living in the best regular season that this Phillies organization has ever had? I understand. For some of you, the regular season, you look at this and say, what does it matter to you? It matters to me because I can guarantee you this weekend, whatever you're doing with your holiday weekend, you might sit down. Yeah, you're going to sit down at television, maybe gathered with people you love, people you can't stand. It's usually one or two in a holiday week. And I found
with
that.
family and friends.
And family and friends. You're either locked in with people you love, people you can't stand.
Or people you tolerate.
Yeah, people somewhere in the middle there. And you're going to be watching the game or at least talking about it. Because this has hit the point of not just like Phillies fans, like the person that doesn't care at all, that knows you watch a little bit of baseball is like, so I hear these Phillies are really great.
Hey,
when you sit down to have that conversation, are you going to be talking about, this is going to be the summer that we talk about forever? Because 2011, I still talk about it all the time. I find that I'm still not over. I haven't totally processed the end of it because I love the ride of it so much.
Yeah, that was a tough ending.
Yeah, especially for a Ryan Howard guy. It's
Literally
fine.
Close my eyes and still see that.
Yeah, me too. I can tell you where I was sitting. It's fine. We're going
We
positive
moved on.
today. It's holiday weekend.
Moved on. Yeah, it's interesting because it reminds me of that, and I think it's an Office meme, or I think Andy said it on The Office, and he said, I wish someone told you you were in the good times when they were happening.
Yeah.
Because everybody looks back, oh, that was such a great time. I feel like that's this. Like you need to allow yourself to be good with experiencing this as the good times. And they're rolling right now. And yes, they're going to lose. They're not going to go 148 and whatever.
148-14.
14.
I mean, I found a sports book that was offering the 147.5 wins. I did.
No, you did not.
No, I didn't. Would have been great though, right?
I was like,
yeah. So I took my paycheck from last week.
What was that?
147.5 over.
Over. Done.
Smack it.
Lock it in. But I think like there's people that have that trepidation because they do think ahead.
Right.
And I think the point is this team is fun to watch. Every player is fun to watch. Every player is invested. Every player is bought in. And the 2011, what really stands out to me about that year, really, it was the pitching staff.
Right.
When you assembled a pitching staff like that, the offense was fine. There wasn't anything wrong with it. Obviously, I think you did the numbers. You have decent home runs, decent on-base percentage, and overall, I think that they scored quite a bit. But they just found ways to win because you didn't need to score a lot of runs when you have guys that are sub-3 ERA across the board.
Yeah.
And that was an amazing pitching staff. But I think that really, when I think about that and flash forward to me and, whatever, 2 years from now or a year from now, looking back on this year, I won't just think about the pitching staff. And I think that's what makes it a little bit more special. I'll think about every single player on this team contributing in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and this lineup from top to bottom, and it's a different game. That's the fun thing about comparing.
True.
Like 2011, I don't know who they would have went out and gotten for a designated hitter, how they would have managed that as compared to today's day and age. You get the benefit of having Kyle Schwarber in the lineup every day and not having to worry about the defense. Like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful world to
ideal.
live in. As much as people wanted to cling to the National League and the tradition, I've kind of put it behind
we're
me.
good.
I think especially after 2022 when Bryce Harper was able to play because,
So much better.
One point I was like, all right, yeah, you know what? I've given up on thinking about why tradition works. This works to Phils.
This works, yeah,
Let's just
this
hit
works.
homers. Let's have fun.
It's like people that I remember right after the pitch clock was installed and we were sitting at a game and someone was like, I don't like this pitch clock. And I'm not kidding. I slowly turned around, but the way that because he said it out loud, strangers, our entire row were like, what? You don't like well, it just takes away the integrity of the game. Like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. How it was such the weirdest take, and I didn't even have to say anything, but I just kind of smirked because then like people are coming at him, people from like a row over, like what you're insane. We can come to the game, we can enjoy it in like 2 hours and 40 minutes. The game yesterday, It started in a delay, in like a 40-minute delay, and it still finished in like 2.5 hours.
And it's hilarious to think because that 2011 team was basically playing pitch clock baseball because the games were so fast because the pitchers were getting it done so quickly.
So good, so they were doing it anyway. And I was like, yeah, no, everyone loves the 3-hour, 15-minute games. So it was just, but there are people that do, and I wonder if he's still on board with that. Like you wonder, because you said your initial take was, I don't know, this is not the same.
It's gonna go.
I'm like, nope, I love this. This is great.
Yeah.
I think you come over really quick when your team is benefiting from it.
Yeah. I think especially DH, and then of course just I get home a little bit sooner, or I get to go out a little bit sooner with the pitch clock. Depending on the night.
See how it goes.
Way.
Yeah, you usually stop it by somewhere.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, Amy, you've only known me a little while, and it already sticks out there, so you know that.
And I like it.
Yeah, like to have fun. That's a theme of whoever sits in this chair for middays.
Fun.
I just like to have
It's
fun.
always a good time when you're having fun.
Now, on top of this, like all-time, and I think I want to phrase it the question, like, do you think you're about to live the best summer of your Phillies fandom? Because the fall, legends will be made in the fall, the whole thing. But
the
summer, are we about to live the best summer of our Phillies fandom? And this is a very personal question for people because, again, you might love 93 because it came from nowhere. You might love 2011 because Cole Hamels was your favorite pitcher, or you loved Roy Halladay and then he was a Philly, and then you got to live, that experience. And for a multitude of reasons, any of these different teams could be. Do you think you're about to live the best summer of your Phillies fandom? Because I'll be honest, my expectation, and if you want to chime in on my expectations on them beating the franchise record, you're more than welcome to, because I've changed that. I've altered that.
It's hard not to alter it, right?
Like, you get to that point, you're like, yeah, okay.
I think you thought at the beginning of the season, this team has a chance to flirt with 100 wins.
Yeah.
If everything came together.
And the ebbs and flows of baseball, I was like, okay, 94 because everything has
Right.
to come together, I think, for this team to win 100 games. Well, everything's come together more than I anticipated coming together.
And then when people talk about the schedule and they haven't played whomever, of course they just played the Rangers and swept
Right.
them. And though defensively that Rangers team suspect. But anyway, you have to stockpile those wins. You have to sweep these teams. 7 sweeps in 12 series is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And so when you look to try to bank 100 wins, you have to get these wins early on.
Absolutely. And if they were 27 and 24, the conversation would be, well, why aren't they taking advantage of this time
Exactly.
right now? So they're in a no-win situation for some people. I understand
That's
that.
true.
That's just the way things work. I understand it. I understand how some of you think. But on top of the question about living the best summer of your Phillies fandom, with the idea of all time, I want to have some fun with the callers today,
This
okay?
is
And you
good.
can join us at 610-632-0975. We're going to do a fantasy draft of sorts. And I don't think I'm reinventing the sports talk radio medium with this type of idea. I know it's been done before, but I like the idea of putting together the all-time lineup. And I know this is something you do consistently with Shawnee, talking about all the different
Yes.
players and drafting. So this is something that I wanted to do today to have a little bit of fun with all you. Because ultimately, we're leading into a weekend where a lot of people like to have a little bit of fun. I know if you can't tell on YouTube with the shirt, as soon as this show is over, I'm not hiding it. I'm off.
You're gone.
Yeah, I'll see y'all down in Wildwood. I'm going to have myself a nice 48 hours down there. And I want to have some fun with you with this idea. We're going to draft the all-time lineup. We're going to get the callers get the first pick. We'll snake draft it back around.
Okay?
Amy, you'll get the second pick. Josh, you get the third. I'll go last.
And then you'll
I'll
go
get the
first.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll
Snake
go
draft.
first. And we'll snake it back, and we'll give the callers, you get a chance to chime in. So with your Phillies point at 610-632-0975, you'll be able to draft someone to the all-time lineup for this Phillies team. So I'm giving you catcher, first baseman, second baseman, shortstop, third baseman, left fielder, center fielder, right fielder, and we'll throw in a DH. DH is going to be interesting because
You could go
put anyone
anywhere.
there. Yeah, I'm letting you take anyone. I'm not forcing it to be guys who have DH since 2020. You don't need to get Jay Bruce up in here to be your DH for the all-time Phillies team. They could have just been a Philly that you don't want in the field.
Yes. Well, there's a couple of
There's a couple. I mean, there might be someone
There
on
might-
this team right
currently,
now.
yeah.
All right, but so you'll be able to chime in with that at 610-632-0975. On top of course, jumping in with this Phillies conversation. We will get to some Eagles because we did talk to Brian Dawkins
Love it.
yesterday. He said a couple things. One that had me fired up. I saw the YouTube chat was like ready to run through the wall. I was fired up sitting here. I was trying to keep the composure, but like there might be a couple holes in the wall outside.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they actually hid those. You didn't see them when they came in, but I was pretty fired up after talking to him. So we'll get to all that. Your phone calls at 610-632-0975 alongside Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn in for Bob Cooney here on Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Not quite Bob Cooney. He's decided.
enough.
Yeah, he's basically not working until August. I think is what that's how I read the schedule. It looks like he's just vacationing all the way in Europe for like months on end.
He's not coming back till midweek.
Midweek, yeah,
Or did I
Wednesday.
say midweek. See, that's midweek.
That's midweek right there.
Legitimate.
Wednesday's his Monday. He does not like the day Tuesday. By the way, hi, I'm Ray Dunn. That's Amy Fadul.
How are you?
Yeah. We're hanging out with you here for middays in place of Bob Cooney. He's not a big fan of the day Tuesday, so I'm not surprised he took the Tuesday off. He thinks Tuesday's the worst day of the week, which I can kind of get behind.
Yeah, I always think Wednesday for me because Tuesday you could kind of couple it. No, you're right. I was trying to think if you could like marry it with a day off to get to the weekend. I guess you could take Monday and then but no.
Yeah,
Tuesdays and Wednesdays are both tough.
Yeah, they're brutal. They're brutal. Luckily, it's a Friday.
Oh, it's
Friday
always a good
of
day.
a holiday weekend. So we're going to have ourselves some fun today as we continue with the Phillies conversation. And we're asking the question, do you think you're about to live the best summer of your Phillies fandom? I finally did check into the YouTube chat, people already, with the way it ended in 2011 already. Nightmare.
Yeah. Well, we got it.
I know.
It was awful.
I lived it. This is one of the ones I could say I lived with you, that I lived through the pain. I know. I'm aware. I was there for it. I'm just saying to you when it comes to the idea of, okay, the ending of it's so scary. And so many of you are so scared of where it goes at the end. And I understand, to an extent, where the fear comes from. I'm not trying to live the ending with you right now. I'm trying to live the ride with you. Do you think this is going to be the best summer of your Phillies fandom? And we got Kevin Cooney already checked in with me. He wanted to give his thoughts on it. So I appreciate what he's got to say because it goes back to the lived version of this with your fandom, the way you live it. And then on top of that, we're drafting an all-time Phillies lineup here. Okay, so the callers have the first pick. We're going to see if Joe on the line wants to do it.
Okay.
I mean, I would think that you have a pretty solid.
You should be able to give so he's got he's got the number one overall pick.
He's got the number one overall pick.
You can pick any position.
You can pick any position. So we're going to get to his Phillies point.
How many pitchers are we picking?
Oh, we're just going
right,
lineup.
just
lineup.
position,
Yeah,
right.
listen, I'm not banking.
DH.
I mean, I could do the 26-man roster, but the best show ever does have to get on the air at 2 o'clock. And, I'll be sitting there. Well, I really liked Mayberry off the bench. Yeah.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You did?
I love John Mayberry Jr.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. This is like one of those niche, like weird. You'll learn from working with me. There's a lot of like niche
interesting.
weird. My brother, for my birthday this year, this is. I'm dead serious. I'll tweet out the picture of it. He found on eBay a John Mayberry Jr. Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs bobblehead.
No.
We're pretty good. This is like our thing. We just kind of go weird.
Random.
Again, we're similar weird, so we know exactly how to shop for one another. He's much better at it than I am, but I opened it up. I was like, you win. You won.
That's it.
All the things I did for my birthday. I took a trip to San Diego, and I got this,
That was the best one.
Yeah, that was.
John Mayberry. Okay, I like it. All right.
Had the second best OPS at the end of the season on the 2011 team. 854 OPS, I believe, that season.
Yeah, sure.
I was looking around today. Played over 100 games. Great. Love it.
I watched it. Clearly.
He started the season. You don't get to 102 wins without his walk-off on opening day.
Now, that is true. Because that would have been 101. I'm sure he contributed in other ways.
Who knows? The momentum could have been totally shifted.
Thank you, John.
We wouldn't even be talking about 2011 if it wasn't for Mayberry.
John Mayberry. There's people out there that they completely forgotten about him, and they were like, oh. And we had that moment yesterday when we saw Don Brown. We knew Don Brown was. I mean, that would have been announced that Don Brown was throwing out the first pitch. And he's still in the area, and we're going to talk about him coming up. But he was a Philly for some of the younger people that work with us at NBC Sports Philadelphia. Like, oh, what's up with this guy? And we're like, oh my gosh, you don't even know. He was untouchable.
You didn't live May 2013, I think it was.
He was untouchable. He was an untouchable prospect.
2013. He was untouchable. Yeah,
that was the first time we ever referred to anybody. It's like, no. Don't call. He's untouchable.
And he was the deciding factor for a lot of people in this industry of, no, you can trade prospects.
Yeah, you sure can.
You can end up trading prospects.
Philly man used to call him Dominique. Dominique. That's the best.
The Don Brown thing yesterday had me back in a certain mindset.
That was my birthday. I loved that year. That was a great year.
This is what you get with this program when I'm in this chair. We can get into John Mayberry Jr. diatribes, and you never know where we
go. All right, you can go to Joe.
Yeah, we'll go to Joe. We'll get to Joe in a second here, but I want to reset for you to make sure you know where we're going here. Do you think you're about to live the best summer of your Phillies fandom? I want to talk regular season. I've got the expectation now. I think they're going to do it. I really do. And it's something that's come over me in the last couple of days. They're just dominating teams. It's fun to watch. We went over some of the numbers, just dominance compared to, again, the team that I hold most dear in terms of a regular season in 2011 for what they were able to do, and obviously the franchise record of wins, all those wonderful things. But we got that, and then we got the all-time Phillies lineup that we're going to draft here. We're going to give Joe the first pick here, and you can chime in at 610-632-0975. Joe, in South Jersey, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
What's up? First pick, I'd go Jimmy Rollins, shortstop.
Ooh.
All right.
All right. What do you got on the Phillies?
So, yes, I think this will be the best summer. As a Phillies fan, I'm turning 40 this summer. I'd love to see them, finish the job as turn 40 with a milestone birthday, the summer birthday. So I'm hoping to just spend a lot of my time sitting on the beach, sipping a drink, and listening to a Phillies game.
Love it.
Lovely.
But I actually called to ask Amy a question. I called on Wednesday.
Yes, you did.
And I just wanted to follow up.
I got your answer.
I'm dying to hear it.
So for those who don't remember, Joe called on Wednesday, and he had the great idea and question of, if you're watching the game, Phillies game in this case, and also the Eagles, as you pointed out, a lot of the times we have matched the graphic to what they're wearing. Now, it's a new addition this year with the City Connect. City Connect, they were home Friday nights. The graphics have the bell, that's the blue with the yellow, and it looks like the team uniforms, right? And all the graphics match that. It's on the pregame show, it's on the postgame show, everything across the board. And then when the Eagles wore their Kelly Greens against, the Bills and the Dolphins, on the television, the graphic would show the Kelly Green and then the old school Eagle logo. And so Joe asked why, if we're matching graphics to uniforms, they don't do the powder blues. So it came up yesterday. I did the Phillies game with our guys Ricky Bo and Ben Davis, and I asked said producer, and I said, hey, I got a question. The guy that called yesterday, Joe, and said, why don't we match the graphics? And everybody, when I say, Joe, that the entire newsroom stopped and said, how good would that maroon look on that logo? And I was
Thank
like,
you.
see? Joe, and then I was like, well, who do we talk to about this? I'm like, do you know how much trouble it is to get those going? And it's like a whole thing, and you got to install the packages in the beginning of the season. And I don't understand how the graphics really work, clearly. So I just thought it was like, oh, I got MS Paint. Let's just go ahead and put the graphic in there. That's apparently not how it works. So it is something now, though I will say the bug is in the ear. It is a bigger process, apparently, than what I'm aware of. And because there's a guy that works with us, Kobe Noon, shout out Kobe. He also works for Fanavision. And he's like, oh, you'd have to talk to, and he's naming like 5 different people. And then we're naming like our 3 graphics people. And I was like, oh, so it's not just like upload the GIF or the JPEG and call it a day. But I will say the idea went over like gangbusters. People really liked it. So I'm not going to say that it's going to change, but I think that the idea could be there going into next season, because apparently it is a bigger to-do than it is just like, putting the JPEG in there. But honestly, as soon as I said it, everybody's like, how great would that? I was like, the P would look, the powder blue with that maroon P up there on that upper logo, amazing. So, Joe, thank you for that. The graphics people might hate us, but we're excited to maybe see if we can get this going in the off season.
You only need to set it up once. Once it's made,
see, there you go. Once it's made, once they figure out how to do it. But apparently the City Connect one took some time to kind of get everything uploaded with all of the, because there's a lot of graphics,
right.
Clearly. It's not just the score bug. They do it on all the graphics.
Joe, you're the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah.
I appreciate that from you. We will give you the credit if it happens. We appreciate you making the phone call. That's awesome.
Stuff.
That's great. I love that now Joe basically has like 10 people between the Phillies and NBC Sports
Kobe's
Philly.
like, oh, that would be this person. I'm like, oh. So it's not just an uploading of the JPEG. All right. Duly noted. Amy and her graphics knowledge, very limited when it comes to television and how the whole thing's. There's systems and whatever else. But I love the idea of that. I mean, it could happen. Because if it was a one-off, like it's one thing to import like a headshot. Like, oh, it's a new player. You've got that. Right. You just bring them and you put them in a Phillies uniform. This obviously is a whole graphics package. But I love the idea of it. And I tell you, everybody was like, that would be amazing. I'm like, I know. It would be amazing. I had never thought of it.
If you see a lot of commotion down in South Philadelphia, just know Joe in South Jersey was able to start a little bit of a revolution with the graphics for the Phillies game. All right, he went Jimmy Rollins.
I like Jimmy Rollins. That's a good one.
That's a good pick.
I think,
and this is, I'm going to tip my hand on a little bit of the way I would draft here because, why not? I think if you can get the bona fide number 1 at any position to start this off.
I was surprised he didn't go with that.
Yeah, I mean, but I think Rollins
no,
is
that
short.
could be. Yeah, I mean,
That's a great
very
start.
good call. Borderline Hall of Famer.
So, Amy, that sends the second pick of this
Yeah,
draft
I mean,
to
this
you.
is Mike Schmidt at third base.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know if we were going to get a little off the beaten path here. I thought Schmidt was going to go 1. Joe did say he's 40, so in my mind, that takes me back to 84 would be when
Okay.
he was.
Yeah, I mean,
So a little young.
I didn't watch Mike Schmidt either.
I'm not
but-
saying that you did.
Thank you, my friend.
Listen, I'll say Bob enjoyed his Mike Schmidt time. He got to watch a lot of Mike
He's
Schmidt.
done with it.
Yeah.
He's all over it.
Yeah, but I was just saying maybe that, Jimmy Rollins for him probably was, he was probably young
like,
adult. You remember watching Jimmy as a young
It's hard
adult.
to go wrong with some of the core members of
Yeah.
that 08 team, really,
Yeah.
if you think about it. Some really nice
No,
players.
you can't go wrong in that sense.
Really nice players. All right,
Which
so-
leads us to Josh. Hello, Josh.
hi, Josh.
Hello.
All right, no, you got your
Yeah,
pick.
Josh,
You're up.
you're
Yeah,
up.
yeah, no,
Hello.
you can speak.
I mean, Bryce Harper, come on now.
What is he doing?
Well, Ray and I discussed pre-show, and we decided he is your first baseman.
I think we put
Really?
him. Yeah.
Okay, so he's not your DH.
So
No, definitely not DH.
I think he wants to go a little more powerful at DH at some point.
Okay.
Maybe. If I had to guess where Josh is going to swing this back around.
Yeah. I
I think I know Mike.
Another person that might have played that similar position.
Yeah. So we'll see.
All right, so you want him at first base.
Yeah, I think we go Bryce at first also because by the time this is all said and done, if he continues, I assume he's going to continue there for
Yeah.
a number of years. He's probably going to have more games at first than
Then he would have right field.
right field.
Okay.
So this is projecting out. This is
Okay.
why, because Bryce was the ultimate all right, where are you going to put him?
Which is great.
Yeah, it's great. It's great, but it leaves us a little
Okay.
bit.
So Bryce Harper first.
Yeah. So do you want me to close out this round with my pick here?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm going Chase at second.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll
Chase.
come back with some second round picks here, but to
All right. Well, that's a good. You know what? We've got our infield.
we do.
All right. That's a
Yeah,
good
we got
start.
it.
That's
I got
a good
it in
start.
field. Yeah. So for our callers right now, their shortstop is Jimmy Rollins.
Right.
Amy, your third baseman's Mike Schmidt.
Mm-hmm.
Josh has got Bryce at first, and I've got for my team at second base Chase Utley. So that's
a pretty good team.
that's a pretty good
I
team.
mean, obviously, I have the best pick.
Yeah. Yeah. You definitely
Sorry.
do.
I mean, mine's a certified Hall of
Yeah. No, I mean,
greatest third baseman of all time.
yeah. Mike Schmidt dropped to 2, and you were able to. Hey, listen, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. I'd like my
Jimmy
second
Rollins
baseman.
is good.
Yeah, we'll come back with some more picks. And if you want to jump in and be the caller that makes the next pick for this
Yes.
team, 610-632-0975. We'll get you in. We'll have that conversation with you about the Phillies. And then coming up next, Brian Dawkins joined us yesterday at 1:30. Little chance to react to a couple things he said because the leadership conversation about this team, he gave some advice. And he also gave what message he'd be delivering to this team right now. And it was pointed. It was pointed. I appreciate it. If you didn't hear it, Amy, and you didn't hear it out there, you're going to want to listen into this one. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn in for Bob Cooney here on Middays on 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. Middays, not with Bob Cooney today.
Nope.
He's enjoying his
Very long.
weekend.
Very long weekend.
Yeah, nice
Extended.
holiday weekend for the guy.
Yeah.
Very happy for you, Bob. I'm Ray Dunn, alongside Amy Fadul, Josh Safran producing today. I think at this point I'm just baiting him to get angry over text. I think that's really where I'm at.
Just trying to, kind of goad him into that.
Right.
He'll
yeah.
do it.
He'll do it. Oh,
He'll
yeah.
do it at some point.
I think I'm starting to figure out how to upset him. It's one of the great joys that I've found. I knew how to upset Andrew Salciunas
Yes.
pretty well. I knew how to push his buttons to get him upset.
There's a couple of key words I feel like you can get with Bob.
Yeah. There's a few things that I think I can upset Bob
Yeah,
with.
but we enjoy your time, Bob.
Yeah,
See
certainly.
See you next month.
Enjoy it. Yeah. Next month.
Practically.
Yeah. Might as well, he's just waiting for football
It's
season.
June
seems like.
1st, apparently,
it's
maybe.
gonna be, yeah. We're going to be talking about the Eagles opener in Brazil, and Bob's, oh, back.
Oh, yeah. Good to see you.
Yeah. 10 o'clock hour is brought to you by Window Nation. Take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90Nation or visit windownation.com. I have to say, I do think I'm getting on him about this more because of the way I was treated on the way out for San Diego.
That's true.
That was one day off.
That was, and it made it seem like you were leaving like for good.
Forever.
People
reached out to me.
You missed
Where are you
one
going?
day. Yeah. You're sailing off into the sunset. One day you missed.
It was like I got traded
Not
to
three.
some radio station in San Diego.
Yeah.
They were like, oh,
Good luck to you.
Best
We
of
wish you
wishes.
well.
Oh, but no. So we hope Bob enjoys his time.
Yeah,
Bob, yesterday with us, we got a chance to talk with Brian Dawkins, which was a treat. And everyone, the YouTube comments, a few people text me like, I could listen to him talk forever.
Oh, absolutely.
Me too. I actually felt bad asking questions because it meant he was done talking and I had to hear myself again. But there was a couple of things that Dawkins had to say, and I want to start with just a little bit of like the secret to leadership, because we talked so much this offseason about leadership and getting into leaders. Listen to what Dawkins had to say, and I'm curious how it makes you feel about this Eagles group.
My leadership started with me being a disciplined individual. I have to be disciplined in my craft, disciplined in me learning what I need to learn, again, getting my body where it needs to be so that I can be the weapon that I need to be on game days, so that the defensive coordinator, Jim Johnson, at the time, the late great, can use me however he wants me to be used. And along that way, guess what? Guys are looking at me. Guys are watching some of the things that I do, how I go about practicing. And some of those guys ask questions about, why do you do this and why you do things like that.
So it's interesting to hear it because it comes from a place of, and when you think of Brian Dawkins, I think a lot of us think, especially just with listening to him, you think so vocal, so, like that could be the leadership style. It's so much more of the example that leads to the vocality. To me, that made me feel better, honestly, about the leadership group with the Eagles right now. Because I think a lot of people have I think it's so overblown, the vocal, and I know talking leaders, I feel like, this seat is trying to attack me right here. But talking about leaders, like when you get into that type of conversation, I think we so much like try to put it has to be a vocal, it has to be loud, outspoken. The fact that Brian Dawkins, the guy that many in this city would consider the best leader we've seen, pick a team, I think we would pick him as the best we've seen. It was not a vocal thing for him. It was more the discipline. It was more what he was doing led to him taking that role. Makes me feel better about a group where a lot of people are like, well, who's going to be the voice in the room? Well, you don't have to be the voice in the room, according to Brian Dawkins.
Well, it's funny because when you talk to some of the Eagles, they'll point out a guy like Devontae Smith as a big leader in that locker room. And I think you look at Devontae as he comes out to a press conference or you see him, in practices and he talks, he doesn't seem to be a big rah-rah guy, right? And we know Jalen Hurts isn't that big guy as far as rah-rah, going to be there passionate in your face. That doesn't mean people don't view them as a leader and respect them as a leader. So I thought that was very interesting to me when a lot of the players will be like, yeah, Devontae Smith. Like, oh, real Devontae? Okay. That's a guy that I didn't see. But that, to your point, that's when you put the silent work in and you do your job and you make everybody accountable, and then you probably do pinpoint a couple of times to vocalize something. I think that that's where it can come from a lot more respect. It's a lot more of, rather than just constantly just being that guy, which some people could, we've talked about this before, some people are really receptive to outside kind of vocal leadership. Some maybe you have to read the room and know, well, this guy I can't keep on him. He's a guy that I can tell once and he'll be good with it and whatever. But I thought hearing Brian Dawkins say that lends a lot of credence to there is more leadership maybe in this Eagles locker room than what we thought. And I think also the end last year, it made you question a lot of things, right? Where were those leaders? We didn't hear from them.
And that end, it elicited a certain type of reaction from Brian Dawkins. And we want to talk about vocal leadership. Maybe he's the one that maybe they just pumped this one into the speakers, and you hope that it has the reaction that he's looking for. Because I asked him what his message would be to the 2024 team, and I'm still thinking about it floored almost 24 hours later.
Are you still embarrassed? Are you still embarrassed? Because you should be. I'm telling you, this is what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to tell them this, though. I'm saying you ask me what I would say. I would ask my team, y'all still embarrassed? Y'all still embarrassed about last year? Yeah, because you should be. We should be. We should be embarrassed about what happened last year. Again, allow that to motivate you. Allow that to give you that extra oomph that you need so that you can get back into the space that they were in the beginning of the year as a perennial favorite to not just be in the Super Bowl, but to win it.
Oof. Are you embarrassed? Twice he said it.
Twice.
Because you should be.
Yeah. That if you want to talk vocal leadership there, that's a message that I think could carry its way through that room.
That's an important message, and I would be surprised if that message isn't somehow vocalized. I would hope it is. I think that's what it is. You wonder who that's going to be, because in my mind that would have been a Jason Kelsey or a Fletcher Cox to go around and tell those guys, "Are you embarrassed?" And maybe Jalen Hurts is that guy, because I think that his vocal leadership maybe hasn't been there in the way that we expected or we've heard. I shouldn't say they expect, because I don't know how it is exactly. I've been in the locker room, but not right after the game. But maybe it wasn't that way because he didn't need it to be at all times, because he had other guys.
And that's also the thing. Do we need someone to deliver that message? Or should that kind of be understood? If you were there last year, like Brian Dawkins talked about it, like the way he thinks about it, like there should be no need to be motivated going into this offseason knowing the way it ended.
Well, I don't think there's motivation, but I think that there could be lulls in there where you need to maybe remind people.
Right. Hey, yeah, why we're here. And you
remember that?
Did you have a lull last offseason?
I got it.
I just appreciated how direct he was with
great.
that one. That was
Did not
fantastic.
mince words.
And if you have anything, listening to that elicited some sort of response in terms of what you're looking for in leadership with this team, because it's going to be a theme. Like, we still got June, July, August.
It has to be
before we get to that first game. It's going to be a theme all summer long. I know a lot of you have thoughts on the leadership of this team. Did the Brian Dawkins conversation yesterday and what you just heard make you feel any better about where this leadership is at with the Eagles? And maybe do you feel a little bit of his? Mm-hmm. I almost felt Brian Dawkins was speaking for the entire city on that one.
Absolutely.
Hey, yeah. Dawkins
is
right. Yeah, they should be. And I'm curious how you felt listening to him yesterday. We didn't get a chance to react with you guys a ton to it because it's just how late it was at the show. You can jump in with that at 610-632-0975. Plus, we're doing our draft. I'm going to give you my second-round pick. We're going to swing back to Josh, Amy, and I know Tasty Cake Dom's sitting there wanting to get the next pick for the callers. But if you want to make one of the picks for this all-time Phillies lineup, you could jump in at 610-632-0975. Make your point. Of course, we got the question of, you think you're about to live the best summer of your Phillies fandom? I want to hear from you guys on that one as well as this Eagles leadership conversation. Alongside Amy Fadool, I'm Ray Dunn. Take you through middays here on 97.5 The Fanatic. It's a holiday weekend. I
Yes,
want
it
to
is.
let you know because you know that because when they play a promotion for later on today, Bob Cooney's not here.
Not here.
Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. We're hanging out with you in the middays. And then later today, you get Bill Colarulo and Tom Albert on the best show
It
ever.
is holiday time, isn't
Happy
it?
holidays. Enjoy your weekend. I hope everyone has a nice weekend. Memorial Day, of course. I'm headed to the shore. My attire
Your
suggests it. My attire has been just ripped to shreds, whether it be Twitter or YouTube. I love it. We got Josh in for the first time on your Twitter selfie, which is a big deal.
Yes, that's a big deal.
And also Instagram, I'll go put the story back up. I was excited.
thank
You
you.
reposted the story yesterday. I was talking. I was like, oh, look, Amy's
That was
on
good
Phillies
stuff.
duty. And we're having a good time.
I always enjoy chit chats, though. You guys had it was a good comment,
Yeah.
good conversation. So
Even-
listen, even though I'm doing Phillies, I can still tune in.
Appreciate it. I popped off again yesterday on something Phillies related. It happens. It's
It
going to
does
happen.
every now and again.
And there's reason to do so, okay? I'm enjoying this team. I'm loving it. I think I'm in for the best summer of my Phillies fandom.
Yeah, it would surprise me if people don't. Maybe it's just the trepidation because I think you said there were some YouTube comments in 2011, and it was really more how it ended. But if you can go back to if you can go back to yourself in May and June and July and August in 2011, I would think you would have felt this is pretty fun.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun. This team is winning all the time. They're beating teams. You mentioned the stats as far as sweeps and run differential and how many runs are. I mean, this team right now averaging 5.5 runs?
Yeah.
Best in all of baseball.
It's pretty great.
They only lost 8 games at home. Think about that.
Yeah, and
And you
what,
were only at 4 of them.
Yeah. When you put it like that, 4 of them were in the first 2 series
Yeah,
of the season.
that's the
So
thing.
they've
So-
lost 4 at home since April 3rd.
We keep talking about they've got 7 sweeps, and I say 7 sweeps in the last 12 series. It's really 7 sweeps, period.
Right.
But they started off with, not great, and that's when you're thinking, oh, we made fun of the bullpen. They're not that good. They can't beat these teams that are bad. It seems laughable that was the first 3 weeks of our season.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Because it's laughable now.
Even a week and a half ago, when some guy that works the midday show here was like, I think we should pump the brakes on the whole breaking the franchise record and wins conversation, and that guy would be me. I'm laughing at myself
Yeah,
a week
you
and a half
should
ago
be.
because I think my expectations changed. I can't believe I'm there. I can't believe it's Memorial Day weekend. I'm like, yeah, I think 102 wins. Yeah, that seems like a benchmark, but I think they can clear.
And then you're looking at this series. So they head out west. They go to Colorado first, and then the Giants, 2 teams they've already swept here in Philadelphia. Rockies, not a great team. It's playing out there is a little different.
Yeah.
Certainly helpful for the offense, not for the pitching, but it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I feel like that. I don't know if I go in every series now thinking it's a sweep, but I think it's a win. I think it's a win. The series will be a 1 series.
I do have this weird, and it's like a Philly, and certainly within this just industry thought of and it might be just my Philly, I can't have nice things. Where one of these series against the bad teams out west because they're out west, it just
Right.
has the awkward feel. I don't like when they go out west ever. I think about the horrors that they had in L.A. until this year with the Angels.
Mm-hmm.
The problem, the Rockies series usually that's an
Giants.
April thing where
Yeah.
they go out there in April and they lose 2 or 3,
cold.
and I hate it and I get upset with it. So as much as those feelings creep in with me, I still they'll win 4 or 6, and they'll be fine. They'll win 5 or 6. They'll win both series. There'll probably be a sweep in there. They've got me in such a great place where even my deep-seated brain broken type vibe thoughts, where it's not really about the baseball, it's
Yeah.
just about the feeling.
You can't.
They've
you don't go
taken away
there.
from those. I don't need to.
Why could you? You
Why
don't want
would I?
to. Yeah,
Well, I
why
also
would you?
did hammer the over 147
Sorry, 147 and a half. Yeah,
wins.
that was
for
on
the-
RaySportsbook.com.
Yeah, RaySportsbook.com. We're offering it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I put
Special.
all of last week's paycheck, just threw it all on there for the over 147 and a half wins. Looking for that one to cash when they end up winning. How many in a row does it have to be at this point? 37. A lot more wins.
A lot more.
That's 111 wins away that they will get to.
Good
because
math from you.
They're not losing. It's about the only good math they're going to get from me for the rest
That's
of the
good
show.
math.
The
Good
only
math.
numbers I have are the ones that are actually put in front of
Right
me
in front of you.
on a website.
That's good stuff.
Speaking of numbers, and speaking of things we get into, we're talking about the best summer of your Phillies fandom. We have our all-time teams we're drafting. So
Yes.
I have a second baseman. You have a third baseman,
I'm
in
a
Mike
third
Schmidt.
baseman. Yes.
Josh has a first baseman, in Bryce Harper. The callers have Jimmy Rollins at short. So just prefacing the callers, 610-632-0975. Unless you are putting a shortstop at designated hitter, or you have a shortstop that maybe play a little second base or third or whatever, whatever you got
whatever
there.
you like.
I'm just telling you, don't draft a shortstop. I'm just trying to
For those callers.
get ahead for you. Now, I have an interesting one here because I think I'm going to go with the designated hitter. But depending on where the rest of my draft breaks out, maybe I slide him back to his normal position of first base. But I'm taking Ryan Howard. I mean, this was the childhood play on this one. This was the guy.
So you've got Ryan Howard off the board.
So I've got Howard and Utley. No big deal to me.
You put him as your DH.
He's going to my DH. So he's my second round first pick since we're snaking back around, which means we're going back over to Josh.
Sitting here hoping you're not taking Ryan Howard.
I know, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Gotta go with Bobby Abreu.
That's your DH?
That's going to be
that.
my outfielder. First
All right.
out, right field there, Bobby Abreu?
yeah, go
All right.
Bobby Abreu. All right. That's all. Not bad. Not bad.
Okay. Wow, that means me.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a deeper dive than I thought.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Dutch. Darren Dalton for a catcher.
Ooh, all right. How about that? First catcher comes off the board. So we got.
I'm a vibes guy too, so
We talked leadership in the last segment.
there you go.
You got a leader there. You got someone that.
you could have gone JT. I was good, but we're gonna go with Dutchy.
All right. Well, hey, don't give away any picks for anyone else. All right.
Well, people realize he's currently on the roster.
He's on. Yeah,
That's
but
not
they
a
might not
sleeper
be
pick.
on the top of the big board. I also
Sorry
have a
if I
question.
reminded you that the BCIB is on the team.
I have a question actually with JT and Harper and some numbers that I looked at. Again, numbers that are put on a website in front of me, not ones that I have to compute in my own brain. Based on some accolades that they're getting to. And it's a fun thing that I like to do with home runs that I kind of force on everyone else in my life that I'm going to force on this show for today. And we're going to enjoy it. We'll get to it.
Bring it on.
But again, asking you think you're about to live the best summer of your Phillies fandom? We know the fall matters. We know we're going to get to that and all those things. But do you think this is going to be the best summer of your Phillies fandom? Check in with us at 610-632-0975, and you'll still be able to make a pick for the all-time Phillies lineup. We're trying to see who out of the callers, Amy, Josh, or myself, gets the best one. That's what brings Tasty Cake Dom to us. Dom, how are you?
Hey, Ray. Hey, Amy. How are you?
Hey, Dom.
I think, Ray, this might be one of my favorite phone calls I ever made to the station.
Wow.
Love it.
Because, number one, you and Bob did such a brilliant job interviewing Brian Dawkins.
Bob's a great interviewer. I got to hang out with Bob for that one. I appreciate that.
I think you did, and Bob is an awesome interviewer, so is Amy. But I thought the questions you asked, Ray, were really good, too.
I appreciate that, Dom.
Immediately, you asked the question, Ray, did it change things? The way that Brian Dawkins endorsed Vic Fangio, my win total went from 12 to 14 immediately.
Ooh.
Wow.
All right. I like that.
I mean, Ray, he really piled it on, right?
He did. Oh, he was very much in praise. I think we'd start talking about the players, and he just went right back to Fangio of like, that's going to be the biggest difference for you. So I'm excited. If he's that fired up, there's no reason why I shouldn't be that fired up.
Right. And then the second part is, if I'm drafted in the second round, and all due respect to Sandy, and I'm able in the second round to draft greatest left-hander in the history of baseball.
Tommy, I hate to do this to you. We're just going lineup. No pitchers.
Yes.
Otherwise, Carlton would be off
Steve
the
Carlton.
board.
That's all right, buddy. Steve
That's
Carlton.
on me. I should have
Okay,
reset that one.
Steve
that
Carlton.
makes a little bit more sense to me.
Yes, you were wondering why we didn't pick Steve Carlton or any
How
of
they
those.
would have been off the board.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got a quick one then.
I give it.
I don't have to worry about anything in the gaps if I draft Gary Maddox.
There you go.
There you go.
Get everything.
Dom, have a nice weekend. Good
All
hearing
right.
from you. If you want to call again, Sundays at 3, we appreciate talking
Sundays
to you
at
then.
3.
Hey, Dom, thank you, though. I appreciate it. Thanks for checking in.
Earth's covered by 70% water, and the other half, or the other 30%, is Gary Maddox.
So that's a good one. I like that pick for him at 2-4, which means we got another caller pick coming up. So if you want to make that pick, because we're snaking back with you guys,
Yes.
610-632-0975. You got Gary Maddox and you got Jimmy Rollins right now on that team. That'll be a pretty sound.
That's a solid team.
Yeah, sound defensive squad. of
Very
course.
sound defensive.
Yeah, so that's I like this. It also plays to me that I'm oddly I feel good about defense. Howard again, my DH. But I'm infatuated with the long ball. I'm a home run guy
You
forever.
get Ryan Howard.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Ryan Howard was the reason I fell in love with baseball. All right, you can see a guy hit balls that far. Like, all right, that's pretty cool. For like as young as I was at that time, I'm not going to give out the age one more time. But as young as I was at that time, it's like
Tell us how. No, I was kidding.
it's like wow, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he was so much fun to watch. It was the tail off for Ryan Howard because of injuries was a tough one, just because you saw here's a guy that obviously an MVP, maybe could have been a two-time MVP when you're looking at what he was able to do for that. And that team was built for that. They were built to do that. They were built on the long ball, certainly with that guy leading the way. It reminded me the other day, Bryce Harper had a home run, I guess it was 2 games ago. The crack of the bat, you just knew it.
Yep.
And it went dead center field. When Ryan Howard would hit one, there was no doubt about it. He never had any cheapies.
No, and the coolest thing that's still in baseball, you can bat flip all you want. The Howard bat drop when he knew, the way he rocked back and dropped that bat when he knew he got all of one. It's the coolest thing in baseball. You can flip the bat as many times as you want, and I'm pro bat flip. I want to be clear on that one. I'm not here.
Yeah, he would have that little hitch, drop that, and then just trot around.
Yeah, he knew when it was gone.
Yeah.
He knew, and when he was going good, hitting the left center, the way it would come up. See, now you
monster home runs.
You could get me distracted.
Yeah, you already selected him. We love Ryan Howard.
Yes, we love Ryan Howard. But talking about the long ball, this was just a fun thing that I keep track of these things. I'm a big the ring it thing on Twitter.
Yeah.
Some people just know me for the home runs numbers, I guess, that I put up there. But it's something that came up for me this week when I was looking at it. Harper this week ties Darren, now tied for 17th all time in home runs for the Phillies. Realmuto ties Schwarber, and both of them are ahead of Jim Thome now by a home run, which is wild when you think about the power. I mean, obviously, Thome, the short career here, JT's had the benefit of games. I think Schwarber's still less games than Thome, which is crazy. But
I mean, Schwarber has multiple seasons of 40-plus home runs. People, I think, forget. Maybe they don't forget, or they just don't realize.
Right. Well, and it's not June yet, so you'll have the Schwarber stats thrown in your face very, very soon.
That's his month.
But I'm so interested for us while we sit here. How far up do you think these guys can get?
That's a great question. So, what numbers are we talking about? Like, where are they at right now as far as rankings?
So Harper's tied for 17th at 134 home runs.
Okay.
Third place for the Phillies, because that's the one that's probably the most gettable of anything. Like, you're not catching Schmidt and you're not catching Howard. None of these guys are. Dell Ennis has 259, third place all time.
Okay, so that's roughly 80 more for Harper?
259, so that's 125 more.
125 more. I didn't hear Harper's numbers.
Yeah, he's at 134.
Oh, I thought you said 174.
Sorry. Maybe I did.
No, you probably
last
did.
week report, we'll look at it.
No, I'm sure you
break
did.
It down.
I think I heard 17. I probably just transposed the 7 in there. So he needs 100.
Man. Bringing the big words here. You got to remember that I'm on this show.
I inserted it. I think Harper has a chance. He needs 100 and something more. He has 5 more. No. Probably 4th then for him.
4th?
What's the 4th list?
4th on the list is 251 from Pat Burrell.
Oh, yeah. I think I did know that. And he would need 120 to get there, 125?
He would need just under 120. So 117. This is a lot of math for me. I realize I put myself in a bind here with the numbers.
So the thing is, you have to extrapolate. You have to kind of figure it out for how many years, at what clip. He's not a giant home run hitter, 20 home runs. I don't think he'll get there either. What's the next one?
Next one would be Chuck Klein at 243.
Yeah, those guys are all kind of bunched up, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. It's Schmidt, a lot of space. Howard, a lot of space.
Harper's 32, 31.
31, right.
So he's got 7 more years on his contract, or 8 more years. He goes to 39.
We're 6 seasons into this, so 7 more after this.
7 more.
And then whatever extension Boris is able to get for him.
Until he's 42.
610.
So yeah, call us now. I mean, if you bank on him, a 20-something home run type of guy for 5 years, that's 100 more. So I need who's in that 230 range?
230 range. You got Utley, you got Luzinski. Utley at 233, Luzinski at 223.
Give me between Utley and Luzinski.
Interesting. I think he ends up at least in the top 5.
Really?
Because I think there's a couple more 30 home run seasons in there.
See, I'm averaging it out to 25.
Right. But even if he goes the next 7 years at 20, that's 140.
Right.
So if it averages out to 20, well, it's going to average out to 20. I expect that. Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Okay.
The unspoken, what we're saying is there. I know what you're saying without saying.
Yes, I don't want to put it out there into existence. But
one thing I could tell you, Schwarber, by the time he is done, I will expect him to be in the top, I think it was 12. I think he might get to,
He's at 12 now?
He's at 27 right now. I think he's going to be in the top 15 by the time he's done. 15 right now is a Roland Lieberthal tie.
Well, I think that the way that he doesn't have to worry about playing outfield. He's just your DH. He has those hot months. June is his usually month. It's funny. He hit the single the other day. Oh, Schwarber single, which it's just, ironic. here's a guy that's a power hitter, and then you see him
Right.
doing. But he's also a big on base guy. Walks a lot. I think that he could be up there, top 15. Who's number 15? What number is that?
15 is Roland, 150. Tied with Lieberthal actually for 14 with 150.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Schwarber could get there.
So he's got 48 to catch those two.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
no
I
doubt
think
about
there's
that.
no doubt. It's the distance that it would take to get to Willie Jones, who I know
For,
we
like,
all
the top
remember
10?
watching. Yeah,
Good
he's-
old Willie Jones.
Well, he's 180 at 13th. So it's a 30 home run jump there.
Yeah, that's a pretty big. But I think he could definitely be 15, 14.
Yeah.
You said they're tied, 14 and
slot
15?
him there at 14.
Okay,
Yeah.
14.
14. And then JT, I think, I would say top 20. Let's say he probably gets to where Harper is right now at 134.
That's feasible.
I think one more year in the contract after this one, I believe, if I'm doing this right in my head, which
That sounds right.
yeah, which would mean he has to hit 32 more over the next 2 seasons. I see that happening.
It's interesting because I feel like we're talking about these guys, and they're Kyle Schwarber is a home run hitter, but not all of them are home run
Right.
hitters. They hit home runs, but there's a difference between a home run hitter and then hitting home runs. And I feel like Harper can go. He has those where it's like 29, 30, 31. Really more, he's in the mid 20s, but he's a machine. He's a manufacturer. We think he's a home run hitter because of the instances in which
Yes.
he's hit them. They're so much bigger.
And right now we're also in a stretch where he's just, rushing
Mashing the ball. Yeah. Just absolutely just destroying it. It's interesting to see if those numbers, because there was a time that the numbers were so inflated because of how everything was on the upswing, and that's all they did. And come back down to earth some regard, but the way that, and there's people out there that talk about the baseballs and how they're set up for the end of the season and whatever else, you can be a conspiracy theorist on that. But I think that there is some validity to the home runs coming back in vogue, we'll say, or a trend, we'll say.
I would agree with that one. I think
Like, you could see some guys. I mean, I don't think you're going to see any of the 60 and 70, but I think a 50s could be regular, having a couple guys do that.
And it's funny. It was a question that was posed to me. I was sitting at one of my local establishments that I love, that I frequent.
Yes.
And I was talking to someone I've met there and that now I've become friendly with. And I forget what the question was. Players that have had 250-plus home run seasons. And it's a limited group. Like, you would think that a number of guys have done it. It's a very limited group, and the guys that aren't a part of it
It's crazy.
are wild. It's become a favorite bar trivia question that I still don't know the full answer to, as much of a home run guy as I am.
Yeah, we're going to have to look that up, because I remember when, Barry Bonds was on his historic streak, which I still don't fully recognize. There's some trivia fact that Hank Aaron never had that.
Yes, and also
He
Barry
never
Bonds
had-
didn't.
Yeah.
Barry Bonds didn't
Never
have
had
250
multiple-
home runs
no.
seasons. He had 73, and then he had a 49
48,
home run
yeah.
season.
Oh, the 49. I knew it was close.
Yeah, it was a 5-year stretch where he casually hit. There was a 73 home run season there. 5-year stretch where he casually hit 258 home runs. No, but didn't have 50 home run seasons.
That's what that's a topic for another day, but that is one of the most annoying things about Barry Bonds' career, is the fact that he didn't need to do what he did.
Yeah.
He was an MVP before all of that stuff, and he just, some people get greedy. Some people get greedy, that's all.
Yeah,
That's what happened
listen,
to him.
I was a guy that was not a big home run hitter. I would have enjoyed doing that, but the singles work for me. I just get myself on base.
You're not a big home run hitter?
No.
In softball?
No. I mean, those who don't, I've never seen me physically might be shocked by that. Anyone that's ever walked past me has been, yeah.
You
that
don't
makes
always
sense.
have to look like Frank Thomas and be a home run hitter.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I have to look like Frank Thomas, but I would probably
Mike
need
Schmidt
what
wasn't the biggest guy.
I would probably need what Barry Bonds got to make myself a home run hitter in this life. One thing I want to get to, I got a Sixers kind of point here, because Bob and I were going through some team building exercise. It might have been with you on Wednesday.
Probably.
All the
maybe.
days
I don't know.
run
They
together
do.
at this point, I'll be honest. But we got into, like, how do you chase some of these teams? And there's one
Yeah.
player that kind of fits the mold of what I'm looking for that I think is officially a trade target for me this offseason. I'm adding it to my wish list, okay? I'm going to get really greedy this offseason, and I need to be, because there's nobody on this team right now aside from Maxine Pete. But we'll get to it. We'll talk with you. We'll break it down. We'll continue this Phillies. The next caller, we'll get to make the next pick for the callers' all-time Phillies lineup team. You can jump in at 610-632-0975, and we'll get to that Sixers conversation alongside Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn here on Midday 97.5, The Fanatic. Welcome back in. 97.5 The Fanatic, the midday show here. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn, filling in for Bob Cooney, who just has the ability to take 75 days to go, wherever he wants to be.
See you in August.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll catch up football season.
Yeah, maybe he'll show up for training camp.
He might.
Maybe not.
Right now, he's an OTA
Maybe
holdout.
he's like a Memorial Day to Labor Day guy, and we'll see him after Labor Day.
That's a good point. I mean,
September.
yeah, he's probably out with Glenn, Rock, getting a couple pops, have himself a day.
Right, garage party. He's at his pool. His
that's a good
pool's
point.
open.
It is a Friday.
Yes, he loves a good garage party. One of
Garage
his
party.
buddies.
Yeah, or swimming in the pool.
Yeah, I think he said the pool guy came and opened up his pool.
Yes, he lives quite the life, that Bob Cooney.
We should all be so lucky.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got off for the next.
I wouldn't want to be there though. I'd rather be right here.
I
why
appreciate
I
you lying
signed up.
right to my face.
No, I signed. I will have to tell you guys, I was very excited. So yeah, they asked if I could come on certain days or whatever, and they said, "Oh, it'll be you and Ray." Perfect. Beyond excited.
My side of that, they're like, "It's you and Amy." I was like, "Amy's coming in to hang out with me."
Absolutely.
Me? All right, great. I appreciate it.
Do it.
Oh, so I'm glad to have you here. I'm glad we could hang out today. Josh Safran producing, and we're doing a couple of different things. We're asking the question. Amy, you just put up a poll on your Twitter account, so I'll give you a second to pull that one up. About the question we're asking today about this summer with Phillies baseball, that you can chime in on 610-632-0975, and at that same number, we're doing our all-time Phillies lineup draft.
Yeah.
The callers are next up. So we got the third round. The callers right now with Jimmy Rollins and Gary Maddox. So you're still going to be able to catcher, first base,
No
second base,
pitcher.
third base. No pitchers. I want to clear that up. We're just doing lineup.
Sorry, Dom.
Yeah. Taste Cake Dom was, how could you not pick Steve Carlson? You're right.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. There was an argument for him to go one if that was the case. But you still got a lot of lineup left to fill out. So if you want to jump in at 610-632-0975, jump in, give us a pick. We will make sure we clarify who you cannot pick so far.
Correct.
Rollins, Maddox off the board at the callers. You got Darren Dalton and Mike Schmidt, Amy, Josh already with Bryce Harper and Bobby Abreu. And I've got Chase Utley and Ryan Howard. And I'm not saying that I feel like I'm ahead or anything, but I do feel pretty confident in my group right
You
now.
can hit home runs.
Yeah, I can.
I mean, Mike Schmidt has some home runs too.
Not to steal a line from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but he's a power-hitting second baseman in the National League. Do you know how rare that is?
That's right. I feel like we became best friends. That's a good one. That's a good one.
So, yes, you can jump in on that at 610-632-0975 as we continue the Phillies conversation. The poll. So I did just tease that. I want to make sure we get that to people.
All right, so one of the first questions we asked, and some people have chimed in as well, is this the best summer of your Phillies fandom? No matter how the season ended, the best summer. And if it's not the best summer of your Phillies fandom, comment what was. So yes, right now is leading 90-10, 90% saying yes. But there are a couple of comments. The first one says, hard to beat 93. That was unexpected and worst to first. I think that you probably went into that after 92 and thought,
yeah,
this is fun.
This is great.
Great summer. And I like that they didn't fall victim to how it ended. And then John Palmer says, 2011, even though the ending was not great, my routine was I would come home from work, pick up dinner, and watch the Phillies all summer.
Appointment viewing. And that's what this team is at right now.
If you miss a game, you miss something probably awesome.
Yes.
Even the mundane games are awesome.
Even dare I say some of the losses have been like they bowed themselves back in, and I've been like, oh no, they're not losing, and they do. But
yeah,
I still
there was like
feel
a
great.
game. It wasn't that long ago. They lost. I think it was 5-3, and Kyle Schwarber spoke afterwards and was like, we were one swing away from tying that game. That's how they feel every game. No matter what the score is, if they're down, they feel like we can win this. Even the mundane 4-0. Aaron Nola had a perfect game through 5. Like that's where we're at. Like, oh, that wasn't that exciting. Yeah, it was. It was a perfect game.
And we got
a couple innings.
Kevin Cooney to chime in on the best summer of his baseball life, which was 93, because it came from nowhere.
Yeah.
And he also was 19 and was having, I'll say, the time of his life enjoying that team. Yeah, it sounded like Kevin was having a good old summer that summer. So, Kevin Cooney, we love you. We appreciate you. And may the summer of 93 live forever in your memory.
Maybe this one be just as good.
Yes, may this one be just as good for some of us who are living the time
of your life
with this team right now. But I wanted to get to the 76ers. You can jump in with the best summer of your Phillies fandom. Do you think this will be at 610-632-0975, as well as being the next caller to draft for the all-time lineup? But I want to jump into some 76ers with you, Amy. And we had a conversation on, I believe it was on Wednesday, with you and Bob.
Yes.
of building a team and how he was not as impressed with the team building in terms of what you can take for the Sixers, but he was comparing it to the Celtics because it's been kind of weird. I'll say it. Bob Cooney's discussion with the Celtics over the last couple days. I'm a little uncomfortable. The whole Larry Bird fandom
A lot of praising.
Yeah, a lot of praising.
Well, he asked me specifically, and I think we posted it on our Instagram page, would you take Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown over Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey? I'm like, you can't do that. You're talking about two guys that have been to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I would love for me to say that.
He set a trap for you. He set a trap
absolutely
for you.
did. He made me try to say that I like the Celtics better, which I do not.
I'm not going to tease anything that won't appear on this show, but I say if whenever they do Out of Context for the best show ever, I would tune in for who Bob Cooney wants to win the NBA Finals. Just
tune in.
Just tune in.
Just listen.
Just saying,
Give it a listen.
Friday, 5. You might want to check in on that because.
And why wouldn't you be?
Yeah, Bob might have said something about the Celtics that I have clipped and I will have forever. Yes, we'll use that against him forever. Well, looking at the Celtics, he also mentioned Drew Holiday in the addition that he's been, and the defensive-minded guard, and that undersells what Drew Holiday is as a complete basketball player, but especially at this stage in his career, what he brings you defensively is fantastic, especially on a team where Tatum, Brown can fill the stat for you. Which got me thinking. I can't find Drew Holiday because I think Drew Holiday is probably the best at what he is in the NBA. But I can go searching for a guard that defensive-minded, can control the basketball if you need him to, and also brings a little bit of height to this backcourt. And I'm not sure if he's in my starting backcourt or if he's coming off the bench. I think probably off the bench if I do this. But I have begun to walk myself down the path of adding to my wish list this trade target.
I am so intrigued right now.
And I hate this organization. This is an organization that trading with actually makes me upset because I think they're a disgrace. They're a disgrace because they once were the shining light of basketball in the NBA, and now they just want to go 41-41. And they just want to make the play. And,
okay.
And they just want to roll with this. The Chicago Bulls, my disdain for them.
That's the only reason I even guessed the team.
Yeah, my disdain for the Chicago Bulls is way too extreme for what they are in terms of relevance in the NBA right now, but I hate them with a burning passion. It might have something to do with DeAndre Drummond just holding him because, we might get the 9 seed.
Ridiculous.
Screw you, Chicago.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. What they tried to ask for him, thinking that they were this big playoff run team that was in their future, not a chance.
They have 2 baseball teams. I think they should get a second basketball team just so that the Bulls can be run out of it.
They can be irrelevant?
Yes. That's legitimately, I do not like the Chicago Bulls.
It's amazing.
At all. And I wasn't alive for all the dominance. It's nothing to do with jealousy. It's purely to do with the vile mediocrity that they sell year in and year out. So with that aside,
this is going to be. I'm on board with this. Though.
I want Alex Caruso.
Yeah,
I want Alex Caruso.
Right?
I really want the defensive minded, 6'5", defensive minded. I'm not saying that he has to run the show entirely, but I really, really want to add him to this backcourt. If I could go out with the wish list, and it bothers me because it's the Bulls and they're going to hold him for whatever ransom they think they could get for him. But I'm so in on trying to go after Alex Caruso this offseason.
Well, it's interesting because at the beginning of the season, when it looked like they struggled, Zach LaVine they had struggled out of the gates before his injury took over,
right.
And everybody thought, well, they're sellers right now. Just let's go poach because they have a lot of money tied up in these players that are not playing, not performing, and so. It seemed like anybody was out there for the taking. And then, of course, they did the dumb stuff like, no, we could still back into the – great, good for you. And the first time that I remember thinking, you're looking at that roster, who could you take? Alex Caruso. I thought the Lakers lost a lot when they lost him. I think he was a good defensive player for them. He was the glue guy. He did a lot of things that they needed. People needed him to do in order to win and become a winning team out there when LeBron was out there, and they let him go. And I thought that was, and I know he was disappointed because he wanted to stay there. And then you saw what he was able to do. He was not the single reason. I think Kobe White was a big player in that. But you look at how they were even able to get into the play-in tournament after the way that they started the season and the lulls they had. A guy like Alex Caruso is 100% the reason for some of the success that they had. I think that's 100% reason for some of the success. He was 100%.
100% of the time it works.
Every time. That's right. He's got real bits of Panther in it. So I think but you're looking at a guy that was able to do a lot of things. If you want to quote Anchorman, I am your girl.
So great.
But I feel like he's just a guy. He covers up a lot of mistakes. And I think that when you look at what you need from this team, and the roster's all open.
Right.
We talked about it on Wednesday. What do you need? We need everything. You can't. There wasn't a wrong answer in taking somebody to add to the Sixers team. There was no
You know what?
wrong
When
answer.
I look at the whole NBA, you want me to scorch this place down?
Exactly.
With
I'll take everybody.
I'll take Alex Caruso.
That's right. Who are you picking? Do you want LeBron? No. I want Alex Caruso and his headband. But you mentioned, the type of vibe that you want. That's the type of vibe you want. On a much lesser degree, T.J. McConnell's that guy for the Pacers.
Yeah.
On a much lesser degree. You have to have somebody like that, and he's their guy.
So between the anchorman quoting and the idea of someone turning on their radio and just hearing, do you want LeBron James?
No.
Alex Caruso's on it, but Alex Caruso's on the wish list.
Yes.
Okay.
Of a realistic trade target that you could come here, bring him in, and help this team right away. Because realistic trade, when we did the exercise earlier this week, it was just an unreal.
Right.
You could take anybody. And the thing with the NBA for people, I'm sure you guys all know this, you can't just pick people.
Right.
You can't just say, like, I want Kevin Durant. Like, okay, I'm sure you do.
They want something back
Yeah.
for Kevin Durant.
He costs them a lot of money and a lot of draft capital. Alex Caruso, for the right price, should be able. And I wondered what his price was. I should do a little research. I wondered because I know he was up there for some trade discussions this year in season. I wonder what the price was for him. I know the price for Andre Drummond was too high. I wonder what it was for Caruso.
Chicago, you're not winning anything. Get over yourselves and start selling pieces from this team. Please and thank you.
They've got some nice players.
They do, which is great if they want 41 and 41 again.
And that's what they're going to do. I mean, because they've got a lot of money still tied up in Lonzo Ball. That's a disaster. I'm so sorry for him.
Right,
He's had some really tragic injury. DeMar DeRozan, a lot of money there. And then, obviously, Zach LaVine as well.
So you can deal with all that. We just want Alex Caruso. Okay, so
Maybe
you
they'll forget about him.
Yeah, you give us Alex Caruso and only, $10 million that he's getting paid. So that works for me. Caruso is now a Sixer in my mind, and the Bulls.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so that's the
Well
third
done.
player.
Done.
That's your big three.
There
you go. Caruso, Maxey, and Embiid. 610.
Call us now. See if that is.
Yeah,
But
I want Caruso. That's
very nice complimentary player
Right.
when you look about the fit that this team is going to have, because that was the one thing that Daryl Morey talked about in this offseason was getting the best players that fit. And he used that word fit multiple times in his postseason kind of end of season wrap up press conference, because I think that is important. I think some people just go get the best player. That yes, if your best player is one of the best players of all time, then the fit will automatically be there. But I think getting the best player to fit is important.
Fit is this summer's gauntlet. It's the word
Yeah.
that we're going to use way too much that I will hate by the end of this period of, do I call it content time?
Sure.
This stretch. Yeah.
Stretch.
The gauntlet I got tired of during Eagles season. Fit will be the word that I hate by the end of Sixers offseason. But this is a guy that I
Yeah.
think would fit.
Because it's all we talked about when we looked at the Eagles season last year. The schedule was like, look, this gauntlet is a gauntlet. And then this year, there is no gauntlet. But we still said it.
No more.
No more gauntlet.
No more.
We're all done.
That's a ban
It's all
on the
about
word.
fit.
It's all about fit this
And the
summer.
Eagles is about leadership.
It's all about fit this summer. You could take that a lot of different
Fitness.
ways. I'm going to put that on like a T-shirt or something. All
Just the
about
word fit.
Yeah, actually, I like that.
Fit.
Yeah.
Just fit.
Obviously, my fashion has been
Yeah.
destroyed left and right.
I feel
so
bad. They really have come at you hard between YouTube and Twitter.
I think this can be a Friday thing for me. I'm just going to come in here looking ridiculous every Friday and see what I can get from the YouTube chat. And
Well, you're
from
not the
Twitter.
only one. Andrew and John had on, and Connor, they all had on Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah, but it's the hat. It's
It's
too
the
much
combo.
happening. It's too much happening at once. I do look like, yeah, and look, Dylan McKinnon's here in a Hawaiian shirt too. Dylan, we'll get you on the camera when we come back. We gotta hit a break here. All right, I'm
We're
sorry.
losing focus.
Yeah, you made me
Sorry,
laugh at the
so
anchorman.
sorry.
No, it's not your fault. This one's on me. All right, this is my bad. I'll wear this one when we come back. You can jump in at 610-632-0975. Is this the best summer of your Phillies fandom? And also, we got this all-time lineup we want to work through. All right, I want you. The next caller makes the next pick, so you can jump on the line, and we will get to you. You will be the one that makes the next pick for this all-time lineup. Maybe we'll even open up to a texter if they make a quick text and get on there. So we'll see. We'll give you a chance to jump in and make the pick for this lineup. You can join us, Amy Fadul and myself, Ray Dunn, hanging out with you here middays in for Bob Cooney on 97.5 The Fanatic. Middays here on 97.5 The Fanatic. I'm Ray Dunn alongside Amy Fadul, hanging out with you.
The no Hawaiian shirt wearing.
Yes, you're not wearing a Hawaiian shirt. Our YouTube family is getting a nice treat right now as they're going to get a chance to see Dylan McKinnon in his Hawaiian shirt. Because I guess, that
Good
was... I didn't say... There was no memo sent out.
Clearly there was.
There was no memo. I promise. There was
Weird.
no
I checked
memo.
my phone, checked my email, didn't get one. That's
Yeah,
fine.
the group chat without Amy had the
Clearly
Hawaiian
did.
shirt.
Oh, that's great. You can see it. You can see it.
Yeah, there you go. He looks good. He's got a good Hawaiian shirt on. He doesn't have a hat that is as florally, so I imagine it's not going to be as much of a controversy to people. But it's good to see you, Dylan. Dylan's hanging out here. You know, it's nice to see
Dylan.
people in the building. You know, today's one of those days where it's like you come in and you're like, wow, parking lot seems quite light. You know?
Yes. Usually you come in, you go around the first, maybe to the left or to the right, first aisle, second aisle. No, there was plenty of spots out there. I'm in the front row.
Yeah, I usually
I'm never
just,
in the front row.
Yeah, I'm usually just giving up on parking
just
on this
go
side.
there.
But I
Yeah,
just go to
exactly.
this side. I'm like, it's fine. I'll take the walk. If you know
Yeah,
anything
you
about me,
love to walk.
I'll take the walk.
You're going to walk home. Well, I remember when we did the show at the Sixers practice facility. You almost walked to there.
Yeah, well, I tried. I tried to walk.
It started raining.
Yeah, it poured on me. I got to the Ben Franklin Bridge. I was walking up. I was like, I hadn't gotten totally to the point where, like, you actually get over the water, but I was getting pretty close. Skies opened up, started pouring. I had to quickly go under shelter, call an Uber. I was worried because it was my brand new sweatshirt was going to be all
That's
soaked.
right, for your Sixers sweatshirt. That was the Allen Iverson day.
Yeah, the most expensive sweatshirt of my life because of that parking ticket.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's fine. I was in the store for 5 minutes. How did you get me? That's all I'm asking.
Oh, you cannot question the PPA. You know this.
I know this. All right, so some of the things that we have gotten into today. I am now officially adding Alex Caruso to my wish list. That is...
Why not?
Probably not number one in terms of thing I want done, but it's on the wish list.
Just because of the way that he fits with his team and the need that they have in the role that he can fill.
Right. I want a bigger guard that can play is defensive-minded alongside Tyrese Maxey.
There you go.
So that just kind of is where he fits for me. That's why he's now on my wish list. We covered that. We got into a little bit of the Eagles leadership conversation. Brian Dawkins making the hair stand up on your arm of just talking about discipline and what it takes and
being embarrassed.
Yeah.
Should be.
I think we got to play that again later.
It's a really good.
It really is.
It's a really good point that he makes.
He said it like he first said it.
Because he went there. I think that was the thing.
Yeah.
He went there. Like, what would you tell this team?
And he asked it twice. And after the second one, I'm sitting there like, oh no. I hope I don't have to respond to this because
I'm like blown away.
I'm a little embarrassed by the team. Yeah, I'm embarrassed by the way it ended. I don't know what to tell you, dog. And then we're doing the conversation about the best summer.
Yeah, there's some good replies.
Phillies. We got some good replies. We'll get to those good replies.
stuff.
I do want to emphasize to you, we're making this nice and easy on you at 610-632-0975. If you want to call in and give us the next pick for the callers, you are able to do so. I'm going to open it up to the texters because some of you might be enjoying, enjoying is probably the wrong word because the traffic's probably ridiculous. Probably some of you might be sitting like passenger there, like listening on the way down, and maybe you don't want to have the whole car sitting there on hold, waiting to get the chance to talk to us. So the next real text, by the way, because I've heard that the texters wanted to make picks, but we got a Miguel Cairo as, so we got some trolls on the text line. I think they're fun. Listen.
Miguel Cairo?
I actually might want to do, at some point this summer, the most obscure Phillies lineup we could come up with. We were having fun with Haley before the show talking about, like, just random people you remember from the drought. It's great. Anytime that game comes up, I'm all in.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's like, and it's one of those names when you hear some of those names, it brings you back to that exact moment. You're like, holy smokes. We talk about process era Sixers.
Yep.
You could throw two names together and you could say, was this an actual player during the process era, or is this a name that I just made up? And you probably have a 50-50 chance of getting it right.
I would love to play that game. Actually, when Bob's back, let's play a game like that with the two of you, because I would love to see.
Name if they're a real process Sixer or not.
Sixer or not.
Yeah, from a certain era. There's some names on there. You're like, no way, that's a guy.
I'm so in on that. I am so all in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll do it.
that'll
Well, when
be a
Bob
fun-
comes back in September,
Yeah, when we see Bob,
right
maybe
before the Sixers season, we'll talk about it.
2025. You know, like
Fingers crossed.
I
We'll see if he
mean,
makes
this
it.
guy just all this vacation time.
He banked a lot, clearly.
Clearly, I mean, he's probably in the Bahamas at this point. If I had to guess.
Sailing around.
Yeah.
He's on one of that world cruise where you can go around the world.
Yeah, and and he's just not coming back.
No,
He's
he
just
just lives on there.
yeah,
lives
good
on
for
the
him.
cruise ship.
Yeah, nice to take vacation, man. One guy goes to San Diego for 3 days, gets ripped for a week.
You missed one day too.
Yeah, I took a red eye. I was back here on Monday, Bob. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, when we come back, I see we got some people jumping in that want to jump in on the picks. So we're gonna get to you. We'll start with Jimmy in Southwest Philly with the next pick for this lineup. Again, lineup, no rotation, no arms, love pitchers, but we're going lineup today because I could do a 26-man roster if we really wanted to with Phillies history, and I wouldn't get bored of it. But I was told Bill Colarulo and Tom Alvord actually want to get on the air today at 2:00
Yes.
for the best show ever. So
yeah, so
we're
it's
not
just the lineup.
just the lineup.
No
We're just
pitchers.
rolling into the lineup. We'll get the next caller pick coming up on the other side, plus the next round of picks from all of us, and then we'll snake back around and have some more fun with it.
All right, I like it.
Are you anticipating the best summer of your Phillies fandom? The start of summer, unofficial today. We'll continue to kick it off with you. Amy Fadul with me. I'm Ray Dunn, hanging out with you. In for Bob Cooney on Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back, 97.5 The Fanatic. Love having Amy here.
That's good stuff.
Amy's just the
That's
best.
good stuff.
Amy Vidul with us today. I'm Ray Dunn in for Bob Cooney here on Middays on 97.5 The Fanatic. I'm not, counting down at all to getting down the shore, but I can tell you it's
can
officially
count
the
down.
afternoon.
Yeah, you can count down to it. We're past the noon hour. A lot of people. I'm wondering, so I drove in yesterday, and I encountered more traffic than I would normally would at that time. Now, granted, I usually don't drive in around 11 o'clock to go into NBC Sports Philadelphia, but I was doing the Phillies stuff around 10. It would seem like a lot more. Maybe people just really take the Memorial Day weekend off that early. I would think Wednesday would be pretty early, but
Yeah,
Thursday early.
Go ahead. Take it.
Like if you can do it, great.
Yeah,
I guess
you go.
Thursday. Yeah, why not Thursday? I guess Thursday afternoon. You put in a half day, maybe,
Yeah, both my parents work from home, so they're both of them.
and they could work. That makes
Last
sense.
night it was congratulations to my sister. I've got the mic. I can throw out some shout outs here.
Absolutely.
My sister won a scholarship last night at my high
Hey.
school. Congratulations to her. Very proud of her.
That's awesome.
I got home in time to watch it live on the live stream, and I was sitting there in my room.
That's amazing.
Get fired up. So congratulations to her. They went to that last night, and then they took
And they
off
went
for a
right
trip.
to the shore. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
they
right,
did
there you
leave
go.
her behind. She's got to work this weekend, so she's home. But
That's good. Well, she's prepared for the
Yeah,
her
her-
next steps.
yeah, she's got to. She's got to make some money.
Scholarship doesn't cover everything. I imagine.
No, it's tough. But they, I think my brother's still with her there. So I don't know. What's ever going on at home?
I
But
love it.
yeah. So they made the rush down the shore yesterday. So
But I feel like a lot of people probably took a half day and left yesterday,
Yeah, I think that's
or
probably,
maybe they worked from home. Period.
And if you work from home, period, I would be there by like Tuesday. Be honest with you, I'd run the Bob Cooney weekend where it just never end.
See, you go all the way Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
You come back in the Wednesday after Labor Day. That's when we'll see him next.
Yeah.
Because Tuesday is not good enough. That you really extend it one more day. Memorial Day or Labor Day being the Monday holidays, you need to also take Tuesday off in Bob Cooney's world.
Yes. Yeah.
Very important.
Yeah, you can't work Tuesday. Yeah.
Why would you? Why would you work
bad.
Tuesday? That way you get a 3-day week,
That's right. You get yourself a nice
a
3-day week.
17-day weekend.
Yeah. All right. So what we've gotten into today, before I rip Bob anymore and he comes storming back here on his day off, we've gotten into. Do you think this will be the best summer of your Phillies fandom? This is obviously a very personal question for you because
Yes.
we can pretend like it's always
And-
wins and losses, but
And
for
we
some
know
of you,
it's May.
yes. I actually did check the calendar. I did realize it was May.
We know.
Which is why we opened this show with the thought of, wow, I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't believe I
Exactly.
feel this way. Because a week and a half ago, I was the guy that was like, all right, this is a lot of fun, but 102 wins is 102 wins. That's a tough bar in the ebbs and flows in baseball. And I've just watched them continue to roll through things. I have this. Kyle Schwarber hasn't hit a home run in 13 games. That's his second longest drought as a Philly. Trey Turner hasn't played in 18 games. Nick Castellanos is hitting 200.
These are things you don't expect.
If I told you that before the season, would you think that they were
Oh, I would think
37 and
something's
14?
gone really wrong.
I would say, hey, probably fighting around 500 because of the schedule, because of the fact they got a lot of talent on this team. But I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't have them at 37 and 14 at this
No.
point.
I mean, because on the outset, if you say things like that, you're thinking, oh, well, then you look for reasons why they are so successful saying those things, saying that Nick Castellanos, a guy that has never batted this low in his entire career. Trey Turner, who was off to such a hot start, has not played now in 18 games. Kyle Schwarber hasn't been hitting the home runs like you've seen. How in the world are they winning? Because every other player is doing, and Schwarber's still contributing, obviously, in different ways. His on-base percentage, he's actually hitting the ball, finding the gaps.
Base
He's
hits.
more, yeah, exactly, more of a base hit type of guy, just like we thought.
Right.
And then you have guys like Ranger Suarez that you thought were going to be pretty good. I don't know that you thought he'd be undefeated at this season with a sub-2 ERA.
His career high for wins in a season is 10.
Well,
He's at
he's
9.
well on his way.
Memorial Day is still on Monday,
Yeah,
folks.
we haven't even hit the actual Memorial Day. And so that's when we're talking about, is this going to be the best summer? Because it's already started out. Because people are replying and they're saying it's must-see TV.
It is.
It's appointment viewing television.
Which is going to make for a lot of tough sleep schedules this weekend.
Yeah, so it's 8:40 tonight, 9:10 tomorrow, and then 3:30 maybe on Sunday. I should probably know that since I'm doing the
While
show.
you're listening to me, you can watch the game.
That's
on,
right. See, you can
on
do
Sunday.
both.
Yeah, you can do both.
Yeah, 3:10 on Sunday.
That's
right
right.
in the heart of listening to Ray.
That's-
I'll try it. I'll do YouTube and watch the game as well.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, we'll make that
Good
work.
deal. I'll chime in.
One thing on top of the will this be your best summer of Phillies fandom, want to continue with our all-time lineup. The callers right now with Jimmy Rollins and Gary Maddox. That's what brings Jimmy from Southwest Philly on the line here at 610-632-0975 to give us a little bit on this Philly start, and then we'll get a lineup pick. Jimmy, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
How are you guys?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Good, man. I hope you guys really enjoy this weekend. And I'm thinking, man, like, this is going to be a good summer with the Phils. I worked down the vet in 93 when that team, was a little surprising and went on their run. But I think the most thing I love about this current team is you brought in Harper, you brought in Schwarber, you brought in Castellanos, you brought in Turner, you brought in Wheeler, right? Great players, right?
Mm-hmm.
He spent the money. He wants to do something different. But now we got Boom, right? We got Stott. We got Ranger, right? We got Kirkring. We got Rojas. We got Pike. We got the players from our farm system that are starting to develop. Nola, he's from the farm system. What a professional team we have in Philly, man. Like,
It's beautiful,
it's
isn't
gonna
it?
be a
I know.
great summer. Well, I mean, not only do we have the guys we paid for, but now these guys that are homegrown are, they're getting the job done right now. And I just think it's going to be a great summer.
It's fantastic, and it's something that I will respond to on the other side, a little bit of like that homegrown and the idea of what they've built here, but I want to make sure we get your lineup addition here. Who are you putting on this all-time line?
So I'm thinking, right, I had someone specific in right field, so I'm going to go ahead and put Bryce as the DH.
Bryce has already been taken.
off the
Josh has
board.
Bryce.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so do we have a right
Yeah.
fielder?
You do not yet
No.
have the right fielder.
Can I pick that one, Bobby Abreu?
He's just taking Josh's
Josh-
team. He's
Josh
just stealing
is
from
like a
Josh. Josh,
sleeper call.
you and Jimmy must be hanging out.
We can use a co-owner, Jimmy.
Yeah, here's who's off the board. Ryan Howard, Bobby Abreu, Darren Dalton, Jimmy Rollins, Mike Schmidt, Chase, Bryce, and Gary Maddox. That's off the board.
Oh, wow.
I know, right?
There ain't much left.
I mean, there are.
So there isn't a right fielder picked yet.
Not for your team, not for the caller team.
Not for the caller team, but Bobby Abreu is off.
Wow.
You really want a right fielder, don't you?
I'm thinking, is there a left fielder?
You can
No.
go left field too.
I can go left field or I can go right field. Oh, man.
First base, second base, go a number of different ways.
So how about Mr. Jim Tomei at first base?
All right, Jimmy, we
Good one.
appreciate it. Thanks for checking in. Jimmy takes Jim Tomey
That was gonna be
after
mine.
trying to thieve the entire team that has been put together by one Josh Saffron over
Yeah,
there.
he did
I was
try to
looking at Jim Tomey too. So
Yeah,
me
that
and
was
Jimmy
gonna
in
be
the
my
step.
that was gonna be my pick.
So Jim Tomey goes off. So Jim Tomey picked by Jimmy. Jimmy Rollins also on the callers. So this is just Jimmy. We got
Lots
Jimmy
of
making
Jims.
the pick. Gary Maddox. Those are the three.
So many.
Tomey, Rollins, Maddox, the three that the callers got. Amy right now with Darren Dalton and Mike Schmidt. Josh with Harper and Abreu. I've got Howard and Utley. Amy, that brings us back to you.
All right. So I thought he was going to steal my right fielder. And I'm kind of torn between a person that I actually watched and a person that I've heard of. And I probably have to go with the person I've heard of and just looked up his stats because I did not watch this gentleman. I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to take Von Hayes in right
All
field.
right. Von Hayes for Amy. With
My right fielder.
That's the right fielder there. Mr. Saffron, to you.
Now, it doesn't come up when you talk about all-time great Phillies because it's been a short run, but if we're going on skill alone, give me Trey Turner.
All right.
Okay.
Trey Turner,
He's your shortstop.
shortstop and that's a premium position for him. Like
Yes.
he's able to get the short there. I think there's a couple other options throughout history that we could make, but in terms of skill, there's already been I've seen people have the conversation of
Could be yeah.
could
Okay.
get to that point. All right, so that leaves me to go here.
That is you. This is the last pick of the first pick of the third round.
This is the last pick of the third round.
Third round. Oh,
So,
sorry, that's right.
Yes. So I'm torn on this one. This is tough. but not that tough because as much as the guy is maligned in this town, and as much as we hate the comments made about a town that I also hate in St. Louis, and it being baseball heaven, if I got a chance to add a Hall of Famer, one of the best at his position of all time, I'm going Scott Rowland.
Yeah. All right.
So, and this does not help my whole, wow, this guy's young conversation when you've taken all guys that have played in the 21st century. But
Scott Rowland is yours. Okay. All right.
that would be my pick there. So we'll snake it back around coming up in the next segment, or maybe later this segment. Depends on.
See what we got.
Yeah, see what we got. Well, I want to get into a little bit of that conversation that Jimmy was getting to with the homegrown, because we've loved just how, I think we attach ourselves to the guys that started here. The forever Phillies, the forever whatever team you want to talk about. Usually it endears you to it. The Sixers found Tyrese Maxey. That's, we love him for the fact of where he was. We love him for his energy and all those things, but if you start searching deep down, you love a little bit because you could say, he was ours. He's a 76er.
Yeah, because you found him.
Right.
You're the one that took the chance, which sounds crazy to say.
Now,
but at 21st overall, he was a guy that was projected by some as a lottery pick. He fell, and you took the opportunity to, listen, I believe in this guy. That's our guy.
And they've done that. And now I think
rewarded.
A great example of that would be what ending up with Ranger Suarez. Might be one of the greatest signings that we've ever seen in this town. And that's not like, no, literally, like what they've been able to turn him into.
I would say, think what you've gotten out of him.
Right.
And what you probably thought you might get out of him.
Yeah.
That's where the joy comes in. Like, oh my gosh, there's no way you thought this.
And that's been the cool thing about this organization right now. And I think we did the conversation, who do you give the most credit to for the start? Dombrowski was the name that came up for me, just because I think that not all these guys are, hardly any of the guys that have come up and drafted actually by Dombrowski that made the way all the way up through so far. But this organization's built some depth to it that's helped them. The Cody Clemens, building, looking at the bullpen, the guys they brought in for the bullpen, identifying what they want. Junior Marte was throwing batting practice or
good sign.
Facing live hitters, I guess, what was it, 2 or 3 days ago? Great sign, because they've been doing all this without their best player in Junior Marte, which is really impressive.
Yes.
That was something I forgot to bring up when I mentioned all those stats of what they've done without a shorter home run.
Junior Marte.
And no Junior Marte for an extended period.
It's impressive. It's even more impressive.
It's even more impressive now. But looking at what they've gotten out of, whether it be bringing in guys to build depth in this organization or the development that we've seen with this team that maybe hasn't been there for, we look back at that. We mentioned the drought just last hour. Like, you look back at some of those names and some of the things they did at that time, you end up with, wow, how did they get here with these guys?
Right.
How did they start? How did this team become the team that we all hoped they would be?
Yeah, and it's interesting because when we're talking about the best summer and a lot of people are going back and they're looking at some of those teams had the makeup, a similar makeup to this one as far as, all right, we found these guys, whether we drafted them or found them early on and signed them. And then other guys we built up, okay, we need this depth. We need depth at the bullpen. Here we go. We're going to go, let's pick up Hoffman, Junior Marte, obviously, some other guys. Of course. And then, okay, we need an extra bat off the bench. We need this. You've got guys that are stepping up, and it's not just bodies out there to fill out the positions. Edmundo Sosa. Whit Merrifield was a big get, and I think that you haven't seen that come completely to fruition yet, but it doesn't mean that you're not going to. And I think he's shown flashes. Here's a guy that has shown in his career to be a very solid hitter, a guy that can hit for power at times, but also hit for average. And I think that he could be that guy. He's not in the lineup every day, so you wonder how much that affects him. But I think the way this team is constructed is one of the biggest reasons it's winning. And Rob Thompson talked about that. He said, excuse me, don't give me credit, give Sam Fuld and Dave Dombrowski credit. And he's right.
Yeah, I think that's a big piece of like what you've gotten from, again, the way they really have taken, I think, an approach from top to bottom of the organization is this is what we value, this is what we're after, and this is what we're going for. We're going to see, and it's something that's coming down the line, and this is probably too deep into the weeds. Maybe this is a topic for another day, but there's been a baseball shift away from drafting the high school pitcher because of the injuries, because of just the number of guys that make it up. Keith Law wrote a great book on, multiple great books on baseball, but one of them was talking about some trends, looking at baseball, why things are the way they are, and you did a whole thing on why high school pitchers are like one of the more risky investments. Well, they've gone to that well, and we're going to see. You know, you've seen with Painter with the injury, you can see where the risk is. Now, how does the reward pay off? They started to value things when they saw market inefficiency with. You start to see them trying to create the trends instead of being the ones that are the slowest to adjust to the trends.
Slowest to react to, is this what we're doing now? Yeah,
This is
we've
where
been doing it for
baseball's
5 years. Let's get on board with it. The Painter thing is interesting, and I know the book you're talking about because and it's funny because it wasn't written last year. It was written several years ago, and he saw that's how it was. It is a thought. If you're an 18-year-old star pitcher, just go ahead and get the Tommy John because it's coming in the next year or two. And I thought that they held on maybe a little too long with the idea that Painter could get through last year without having that. But I think that their hope is he had it early. The payoff is going to be there. You just don't. I know someone talked about it when we were doing if you could take any player and add him to the team, and they brought up Paul Skeens. Perfect example.
Yeah.
You know, LSU, 21 years of age, jettisoned on up here, drafted this past year. And then all of a sudden now you're seeing what he's doing in there. And I think that there's a lot of potential there. You're seeing that trend is now come to fruition because it started, year, 2, 3 years ago, and now everybody's doing it. And the Phillies have reacted better, I think, in their drafts. Their drafts had been a little bit suspect there in the
I'll say they weren't good.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
Some not great drafts.
Some swings and misses.
Yeah.
And there was
at the big positions.
right, and I think 16 might have been the Moniak draft. I think it was, which to their credit, where
He was pretty consensus for a lot of people.
and that draft ended up not being that good.
Yeah.
Like it's like
Yeah, he
I
was
can't
like the best
believe you took the guy.
And the Mick has shown splashes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say like a splash.
He's
He's
a-
shown a little splashes.
You're
Here and
never
there.
going to feel great about number one overall pick being a platoon guy at best. Like, I mean, that's just the nature of it. If you carve out a career for yourself, that's great.
Right.
It's just the expectations that come with being number one.
Yeah.
Like, look at the names that have gone number one, and
Look and see
platoon
where
is-
they did.
Yeah,
you don't
platoon
want to.
is. It didn't work out for you. I'm only saying that to be fair to them, the 16 draft. I think you go back through that first 15 picks, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
There
There wasn't a lot there.
No, there was not. So.
I'm going to pull that up.
Yeah, no, I've had some fun with that. There was back in the waning drought years where it was like, wow, they paid Harper, and I would love for them to like start being competitive with Harper.
Yeah.
I would spend a lot of time back on those drafts. Like, why
See
is there
where it went-
nobody here to
See
help?
where it went wrong?
And then Bryce just decided to call all of his buddies, and they open up the checkbook, and hey,
Wow, there's a lot of high school kids that went too in that one.
reason why things
There you go.
change, reason
All
why
right.
things-
There you
It's
go.
fine.
Wow, this is.
Yeah, it's bad. But what is good is your Philadelphia Phillies. Great, I might even say. We're having a lot of fun with them. And I want to jump in as we continue to talk about whether this will be the best summer of your Phillies fandom at 610-632-0975. I see a couple people that want to make some picks here. So when we come back, we're going to start our fourth round of the all-time Phillies lineup. We're going to get the two picks. We're going to have back-to-back picks by callers right here to get us flipped around back into the fifth round. We're going to get this thing moving in gear. Because, again, Bill Colarulo, Tom Alvord, and Sylvana Kelleher, they got to get on the air at
They've
2
got
o'clock.
a show to do.
Yes, I don't want to take that from them. And I also
We need to have a team, though.
will be on. We do need to have a team. And I'll be honest with you.
You're ready to go.
I'll be down the
Yeah,
shore.
you'll be ready to
Hopefully by the
You'll be
time
ready to go.
they wrap up, I'll maybe have an ice cold beverage in it. Who knows? We'll see how the night goes. Hey.
If my odds on the RaySportsbook.com are, I think they're actually less than even at that point.
I
They're
mean,
less than even odds for that.
I'll say it. It's the traffic.
Yeah.
You'll have to figure out what traffic's going to be. And if
Yeah.
I'm down there by,
That'll be the only thing that could stop you.
my parents are big Parrot heads, big Jimmy Buffett fans.
Oh.
It is 5 o'clock somewhere. And I know where it will be 5 o'clock as soon as I get down.
Down in Wildwood. It's always 5 o'clock in Wildwood. Who we kidding?
I'm Ray Dunn alongside Amy Fadula, hanging out with you in for Bob Cooney here on Middays, 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. Middays here on 97.5 The Fanatic. I would like to correct a previous statement made
on these airways.
on these airwaves. Bob Cooney, not here.
No.
That's Amy Fidul. I'm Ray Dunn. Josh Saffron producing us. Coming up at 2 o'clock, the best show ever with Bill Colarulo, Tom Alvord, and Savannah Kelleher.
Savannah's here.
Savannah is here. So good to see Savannah. She came in to chat.
Yeah,
She
saw her.
knew that we were missing our Tyrone 12-21
Yes,
break
to come in and
conversation.
be like, Tyrone always comes in hot on something.
Mm-hmm.
There's always some, and it doesn't. I would say 50% of the time it's not sports related.
Yes.
And I can't remember the recent one was, but sometimes it's a music thing or it's just in general. Like the other day it was about fitness. It's great. Whatever it is, we talk about it because it's a good take.
Yes.
It's always a good take
It's
on it.
locked in. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
locked
like
into
he's-
that conversation. No, it's
You have
good.
an opinion on it, which I love.
No, and
So I'm glad Sil came in and gave us that.
Yeah, I was told that on our Instagram that the video of his take on hot dogs just went up. I was involved in that. I
Oh,
want
I
to
got
say,
to check this out.
yeah, he's not a fan of the old hot dog. So if the video is pretty funny. I was very, very thrilled to be chosen as the
I'm excited. Are you? Oh, I don't want to. I'm
personality
not going to give it away.
part of it. Yeah, no, it was.
How do you not be pro hot dog? Is this like a Memorial Day type of
Yeah,
situation?
it's like you can eat so much better things. I think he says if you're over the age of 10, you should grow up and just eat something better. Something to that effect.
Oh, well, I wonder. Okay, instead of a hot dog, maybe like an Italian sausage. You can still stick with the.
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be a great choice.
Okay.
That's, I mean, as
Yeah.
we both know from our favorite
Oh,
Citizens
yes.
Bank Park food.
Now they've got two of those.
Yes, they do.
one at each
well, because
side.
we were talking about so much, they were like,
But listen, we
we're
didn't
going to have to
realize.
up the numbers here.
Got to be right field and left field.
Yeah, which the more I talk about it in the air, the more concerned I'm going to be that the one day where I show up and there's actually like a long line for it. I'm like,
Yeah. Don't check it out.
yeah. I mean, but like if you see me tweet that I'm at the game, please let me in.
Yeah. Wait till we go get our
Yeah.
Italian sausage.
Yeah, please. Thank you. So we've gotten into quite a bit here with the Phillies and jumping into whether you think this is going to be the best summer of your Phillies fandom. I know the fall matters. It matters, how it ends, the whole thing. We all got that. Some of you are like, I can't love 2011 because of the way it ended. I love that summer. And in fact, really, their worst baseball was September and then obviously what happened in
It was a fun
October.
summer.
It was a fun summer. I think they lost 8 straight that September. I think it was like a
It was the
500.
September swoon.
Yeah, and because they lost 8 straight, and not to relitigate all this, but they lost 8 straight, then they wanted to break the franchise record of wins. They obviously play the last day for the franchise record. They get it. That kicks the Braves out, gets the Cardinals in. You know how the movie ends.
Yes.
But I now have gone back to that 8-game losing streak, and I might have spent some time this morning trying to figure out which one they should have won it. It's fine. I'm totally over it. Happy summer. We're having a fun summer.
I feel like, well, and it's funny because we were talking about how this team is constructed, and when you're looking at some of the fun years, how were those teams constructed? And someone had brought up, there's some good guys that they've had come through their farm system. One of the callers called in and was just like, it's a lot of fun. You've got different guys that are doing different things, and we mentioned some of the bad drafts, and so we should say there have been some good drafts. Recently, the drafts have been much better. They had a real dearth there of, 16 we're talking about, not a great draft. 15, maybe not so much, and 17. But 18, for Alec Boehm, paid off.
Yep.
Right? 19, Bryson Stott, immediately paying off.
That was, I think, 14 or 15, like middle of the round. Because they had gotten
yeah.
back towards that mediocre
Yeah, like
range.
we're okay.
Yeah.
That's a good value pick.
Yeah, because 18 is the year where they start hot and taper off.
Tapered off. It was
Right.
still
The first time with Kapler. Then the second
Yes.
time they did it with Kapler. And then there was no more Kapler.
And I don't remember. And then 2020, that was a weird year with wasn't
Lost
anything
10,
going
won
on.
10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
21, Andrew Painter. And then 22, Justin Crawford, who I think a lot of people think has a lot of promise. So
And
shout out Sean Kane for those.
yeah, Aiden Miller also. Everyone's
Aiden Miller,
all Aiden Miller
last year, right? 23.
Yeah. So
Aiden Miller, big time hitter, probably coming. So you would think the trends are starting. We were talking about how the Phillies have drafted because Rob Thompson talked about. They said something about this team is great. Aren't you having so much fun? He's like, yeah, but you guys are going to give me credit, and that's great. I got to give the credit to Dave and to Sam, meaning Dave Dombrowski and Sam Fuld, because they're the ones that have constructed this team, and that does include drafts.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun, and we want to share that fun with you. And part of the fun, talk about constructing a roster.
Yes.
We're constructing
Our own.
I grabbed the wrong paper, but yes, our all-time lineups, which brings me back up. And I've thought about this a lot. And
yeah,
you
I
know
gotta
what?
put my list up.
I am going to finally buck my trend of taking people from the 21st century. I'm going to do it. I'm going to step away from it. And instead, I'm going Dick Allen as my left fielder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That's
So
a very
I'm
good one.
going to continue. I mean, this is a powerful lineup. Also, a little bit of flexibility if I want. Maybe Allen could end up back at, play a little first base, maybe a little third base. Got Scott Rowland at third base. Howard right now is my DH. I'm thinking he might. I was kind of hoping Jim told me he was going to slide back, that he was going to get back to me to take him, but he did
I thought
not.
it was going to.
So, yeah, Jimmy in Southwest Philly worked it. So, Josh, you're now up. So, to recap, my team right now, Utley, Rowland, Allen, and Howard. Not bad.
Not too shabby. So, Ray, I'm going to lean into the all 21st century lineup here.
Awesome.
And I need someone to play center field. Who better than the Flying Hawaiian? That's a personal favorite right there with Shane Victorino.
Is it the shirts that you've seen all day today?
That
Yeah.
didn't hurt. That's for
Yeah,
sure.
right. It jogged your memory a little bit.
Yeah, he's a little.
All right.
This has been a Hawaiian-themed day here in terms of shirts.
Also, Victorino, like some huge postseason hits and home runs.
That's right.
Really,
Person
that's-
you want up at the right time.
Yeah.
Not just here, too. Boston loves
Boston
him,
too. Yeah. No, that's right. All right. So he is Flying Hawaiian. Let's put him out in center field. Okay. Is that me?
It's up to you.
All right. So I have a right fielder. Gosh, I still am looking for my DH. I got to find him later. Give me Bull. Give me the Bull.
All right.
Greg
Little
Luzinski
Greg
for me.
Luzinski action for you. All right. So that's you got Dalton, Schmidt, Luzinski, and Hayes.
That's a point I need to pick someone in the 21st century.
No, I like it. I like the differentiating from the eras here. Okay, I think this is a student of history right here that is
I didn't see any
helping
of
us
these
out.
guys play. This is great.
That's fine. This is again well versed. Well, right now they're looking at Josh and I and they're like, wow, these two clowns, do they know anything that happened before the year 2000? Sports didn't start in 2000. Yeah, we know, but we just like the
Darren
guys.
Dalton's recent. Okay.
Yeah, Dalton's recent. Yeah, fine.
Ish.
So
Ish.
let's go to the phones here. Let's
Okay,
get
we got
to
some.
this caller's team right now. Jim Tomey, Jimmy Rollins,
Yeah, they got 2 picks, don't they?
and Gary Maddox. Back-to-back picks. It's going to be Joe and Jared that makes these picks. We're going to Fox Chase first to talk with Joe. Joe, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Yo, guys, how you doing?
Hey, Joe.
Doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I do have a pick, but before I give you my pick, I was going to give you my comment. So before I even do that, I want to say this. I want the whole world to hear this, that I think you, Amy, I think you are the best female person on radio.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you so
are.
much.
I love your comment. You're very knowledgeable. You're very sweet. You have the whole package.
Well, that's
And
awfully kind.
I love you. Anyway,
Thanks, Joe.
here's my comment. I'm a die hard Phillies fan. I'm a 4-for-4 guy, but Phillies are number one. And I remember the year, I can't remember the year, but the Phillies were 6 back of the Mets in September, and everybody was like, it's over. And I said, nah, you can't give up. We got, and we came back and we did it. So I'm one of those guys, I never give up. Now, did I think we would be 37-14? Oh, my God. I mean, it's insane. But we have the camaraderie, the tightness of the team. You can see Ranger. I mean, I picked him 3 years ago. I said, this guy's going to be great. 9-0. I can't even believe it. He's been the guy never gets too high, never gets too low. I'm so excited. This is just.
Sounds like you're having your best summer with this team right now.
I would say he says yes.
You got that right.
All right, Joe, who you got first for a pick?
Now, I have to ask you this. Are you allowed to take a picture?
We're just doing lineup today.
Okay, just doing lineup. Then I would have to take, I don't think you've selected him, but he hit 409 in the World Series, Mr. Bob Boone.
Bob Boone. There
Nice
you go.
pick.
That's a pick, Joe. Thank you for checking in. I appreciate you making the phone call. I appreciate all the nice things you said. How about that?
Callers. Bob
That's-
Boone.
that's
Good pick.
That's a nice pick. That's
Hit 400. That's pretty good.
yeah.
World
So
Series.
again, a little bit. We're talking about postseason heroics here. We got a couple of good picks here. So Bob Boone is going off the board to end that 4th round. So now the callers are working with Bob Boone, Jim Tomey, Jimmy Rollins, and Gary Maddox. Solid squad.
That is a
I
solid
like
squad.
the caller squad. They're going to get to make another pick right here when we go to Center City and talk with Jared. Jared, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, y'all. Appreciate you taking my call today.
Appreciate you making it.
Thank you. Just to give you a little background, so I actually moved to Philly in 2020 from Colorado. So I'm actually going to pass on that pick and give it to someone who has more history in the Phillies. But just to give you that background, I grew up in Denver. I grew up with the Colorado Rockies. It was a great ballpark to go to, but we had good pieces, just never the right amount of players to put that run together. And we did in 2007. We got swept by the Sox. And ever since then, it left a taste in my mouth for baseball that I just sort of got disinterested. And then when I moved out here to Philly in 2020, the Phillies sort of brought that breath back into me. Just the way they carry themselves, their love for the city, the fans, and I live in Center City, being able to hop on that Broad Street subway and go watch Bryce Harper hit a home run under the Friday night lights. It's something else. It's just a different environment. And I just wanted to call to give that shout out to the Phillies, and I'm excited for the summer.
You know, Jared, I'm glad that you're enjoying the summer. I will give you the chance that you've fallen in love with this group of Phillies. This group of Phillies has the chance to be amongst the all-time. If you had to put one onto the lineup, who would it be?
Oof. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to say, and I'm not sure who you've already called out, but I'm just going to say Scott, because the one that rings with me is that game where that grand slam against Miami.
So much fun.
That was awesome. Jared, I appreciate you checking in. I was there for that one.
I was at that one. Everybody's singing his A-OK, and then he does that. I mean, if you didn't get chills.
No. I was also
check
there
yourself for a pulse.
With the person I would consider as the biggest Bryson Stott fan in my life. It's tough. It's my best friend, Emily. Also, my sister's a massive Bryson Stott fan as well. They love him for his ability on the field. They also find him to be quite the looker.
Oh, that was like someone that really enjoyed Kelly Oubre. I remember calling in.
Yes,
Big fan.
Maria and Collingswood,
yes,
right?
That's who
right.
it was.
Yeah, Bob's friend loves Kelly Oubre. But yes, I was there with my friend Emily, and she is probably the biggest Bryson Stott fan.
She rewarded that
I know. Yeah, to witness the moment that happened in Citizens Bank Park from that vantage point, and also to witness. I don't even know how to describe the moment that she had watching that happen in front of her. Was incredible. It's one of my favorite baseball memories.
That was such a good moment, and I think that Jared brought up a good point of going down and the experience of getting on the subway and then just walking up to the ballpark. There is a lot of just palpable excitement and energy surrounding this team. I think you feel it. And it is because they're winning, let's face it, but it's because they're always in games. There's always something to watch for. Even the games we were talking about that are mundane, the pitching staff is, mowing down the opponent. So I think that there's always something. It is a lot of fun. It's a fun. You look at the game yesterday, 42,000 people. 42,000 on a Thursday afternoon. Granted, it's a Thursday of the holiday weekend, but that's a lot of people to be at a ballpark in the middle of the day.
It's so awesome.
It was great. And then they had the flag, their rally towels out, which I think it was like a giveaway. They had all these different things, and I thought, I know they call St. Louis, baseball. I don't know about it. I don't know about it.
No, there's nothing like
Red
Bank
October
Park
here
when it's rocking. And yeah, Red
amazing.
October. Aaron Nola says it, and I'm right there with him. Addicted to postseason baseball in Philadelphia.
Why wouldn't you be?
I am.
It's such a good baseball town here, and the Phillies. I think someone replied to. It was the poll that we have out there that I put out there. Is this going to be the best summer of your Phillies fandom? And if it's not, tell me what is. And someone said it is for them because it's appointment television viewing. It's what they do. That's how it's been for everybody. There's a guy that chimed in on 93 and said, that's what I like to do. All right, that's what everybody likes to do. You did it all year. You always have done it.
Yeah. I have my eye to the side on the YouTube comments coming after me again. We're going to get to that. I think we might have to read off a few of the comments again because they're doing great work again. They're doing great work on us again.
We love you guys on YouTube.
Love you guys.
If you guys haven't there, we tweet out the link. You can find it obviously on YouTube. If you all you have to do is search 97.5 Middays or go to the 97.5 channel. I also tweet it out and Instagram it out. But the comments are amazing.
I love them so much. We're going to get to the next round of picks. Amy, Josh, myself, we all got to cycle back around. But if you want to be the next caller to make a pick for the Phillies all-time lineup again, we're just going strict lineup. I love pitchers. Love that today's not the day for them. Again, we got to get the best show ever on the air at 2 o'clock. I could do this all day, but I want to make sure we get a lineup constructed with you at 610-632-0975. Be sure to jump into the conversation on that. And also, is this going to be the best summer of your Phillies fandom? We're talking about the start of summer here. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn in for Bob Cooney here on Midday on 97.5 The Fanatic. welcome back. Getting close to the 1 o'clock hour. Not that I'm looking towards time or towards getting to the shore, but, we are still in this 12 o'clock hour. I'm Ray Dunn alongside Amy Fadul in for Bob Cooney, who has decided to just, wander away, vacation, whatever.
2024, he just kind of gave it the peace sign.
That's fine. I heard he might have enough time to just take off 2025 too.
Yeah, who knows?
This guy. Yeah, I've been in the business for 75 years. 30 plus. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's just here.
Yeah.
It's just here. 30 years, just here. It felt like it. He is going to kill us.
Today.
He's going to kill us.
I can only imagine him on his fourth beer of the afternoon.
In his garage or sitting in his pool.
Yeah, just laughing at us. This 12 o'clock hour is brought to you by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. Get 0% financing for 72 months and a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. Bob's not here, so that won't go in the last week report.
That's why I can't.
Go to ServiceFirstHVAC.com, please. We love you for sponsoring 12 o'clock hour. I'm sorry that I was laughing. So we got a couple of picks in our all-time lineup that we're doing today for the Phillies. If you want to jump in on that, you can at 610-632-0975. We got to cycle the three of us before we get back to the callers. Jared in Center City gave the callers Bryson Stott.
Yeah, well, he prefaced it saying he had moved here not that long ago. He's from Colorado, but he is talking about how much he enjoys this team this year. It's a breath of fresh air. This team is a very enjoyable team, and it is because they're winning, but there's other aspects of it that are enjoyable. And he mentioned Ranger Suarez, just the calm, cool, collected. Nothing bothers the Ranger.
No, nothing bothers him. And I heard a caller of the best show ever the other day complain that there are not enough Ranger Suarez jerseys out there to be bought. And that's a great jersey. That is. I have a friend that got the World Series.
The one with the patch?
Yeah, with the patch.
Yeah.
So, there's a couple of my friends that like to be, we were in the ground floor of Ranger Suarez.
There's a couple people post it on Twitter and then on Instagram, him just dancing in the clubhouse last year. That is just such a great vibe right there. That's a GIF, or it's not even a GIF. It's like a little video clip of just, you could just post that. That's a good one for this weekend.
Yeah,
that'll be you in about an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah, hopefully.
Not the vibe, the feeling.
Oh, the vibe.
You won't be doing that exact
I've been at this
thing.
Vibe since I got here today.
That's a good point.
Anyone that saw me, Josh can attest to this. As soon as you saw me today, I was walking around. I was nice, light.
Yeah, because I walk in, I was like, what have I missed? You're like, me just walking around. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, you did not miss much.
Vibing much.
One thing that I will miss over the next couple of days is our YouTube friends while we take the weekend. And they had a lot of fun last week at my expense with the mustache.
Yes.
I want to read some comments today on the outfit because this is just good stuff.
There's some good stuff.
Ryan Dunn seems like a nice young man who is obviously colorblind. Seriously, where did he get that shirt? Is that Steve Harvey's Caribbean vacation line?
There's a lot to digest in that, and that's amazing.
They continued to call me Riley Dunn. Duns and Roses, which I think is a great way to describe this fit. Silvana checking in on the YouTube chat saying Ray's hat and shirt pairing is a cry for help.
Yeah, he needs help.
I don't need help. Leave me alone.
Not. There's some good ones.
Voodrew, you can't appreciate an alpha's style. I appreciate you guys defending me on that one. And then they started going, Ray is dressed like he's going to a Larry the Cable Guy show on his way to the Crackle Barrel for a 2-for-1 meatloaf. Ray looked like he worked at the Radio Shack in Florida.
That's a good one.
Right.
This one is good. That shirt screams, I bow hunt iguanas. It really does. If you guys aren't on the YouTube, just check it out. The shirt, it speaks for itself because it might actually have a voice. It's very loud.
Yes, it is quite loud. The attire today is quite loud. I'm sending a message that I'm ready for a little short
vacation.
Time. And that's something I put on the sheet that I wanted to ask you. What is summer for you? What's the first thing that really signifies the start of it?
I mean, it is funny because you talk about the unofficial start to summer, Memorial Day. It's kind of like just the vibe you get when school is out. For me, that's always when summer starts. It's hard to be in the summer mindset if you're still going to school. I feel like that's just a kind of a vibe killer. Or you have people like me, you have to prepare for going to school and pick them up from school and worry about all the school stuff. So for me, the unofficial start to summer is always that last day of school, because the last day of school is usually like a field day and it's nonsense. You're not really doing anything. So that's always when I think. So I'm always like a mid-June type of vibe for summer. But when baseball's really going, that's when it feels like summer for me. Like that's when I feel like this is actual summer and I'm experiencing it.
I have a distinct thing that happens that signifies the beginning of summer for me. The first time I'm upset at someone as I'm trying to merge on exit 7S.
Yes, when you're exit 7S, when they try to get over and you're trying to tell them there's more than one lane and they don't realize it.
Yes.
They don't realize it, so they're sitting there. I was like, if you could just move over, sir, I could also go there.
Right.
They don't want you to do that. That's okay.
No, but I can assure you it did not happen last weekend on my trek down to Sea Isle City for the one evening I spent there. I can assure you it will happen today.
It
So
will definitely happen today.
exit
And
7S.
good luck, everybody out there. Hopefully the traffic isn't too bad right now. I think it's probably somewhat okay. I feel a lot of people went down yesterday. Silvana was in here. We were talking about that. I feel like a lot of people went down yesterday. You said your parents were down yesterday.
Yeah,
last
they got
night.
down last night.
Yeah.
I think.
They're there.
They're there.
They made it.
They're there. They are prepared for me. They're ready for me to get there. I still have an hour to hang out with you guys, and I
Which
look
is
forward
perfect.
to doing that. And I want to hear from you at 610-632-0975. Are you anticipating this to be the best summer of your Phillies fandom? I am. I'm at that point. The fall will show up when the fall shows up. I'm addicted to Red October, the whole thing. But first, we got to get through the summer. And I'm anticipating the best summer of my Phillies fandom. I think they're going to break that franchise record for wins. I do. I'm just at that point. I know.
I love that you're there because you were not there.
I was not there. A week and a half ago, I was not there, but I think they're doing it. And we're also taking your all-time Phillies lineup. We'll make a couple of draft picks on the other side as, we might get somewhere close to finishing this lineup today.
We're getting close.
We're working our way towards it. You can help us out at 610-632-0975. Jump on in, talk some Phils with us at 1:30. We'll have the last week report, which takes a look at some of the bloopers of the week.
Bob.
We're all safe. Well, one person currently within the four walls of this building is not. People currently on this show are.
Okay, perfect.
That's the way I'll tease that.
All right.
Stay tuned for 1:30 for that. But hang out with us in the 1 o'clock hour alongside Amy Fadul. I'm Ray Dunn in for Bob Cooney here on Middays on 97.5 The Fanatic. Welcome back. 97.5 The Fanatic here, the midday show. We're having so much fun.
Yeah, good old Riley Dunn over here.
Yeah.
Killing it.
Ryan Dunn, actually my uncle, is Ryan Dunn.
Ryan
so
Dunn?
I got called Ryan Dunn in this chat. I think that's
You
how
did.
it started. So
Yeah. It did get, yeah.
Yeah, I
Ryan
could
Dunn
see
was
my
the
uncle
first one.
rocking this. I love my
That
uncle.
might be your uncle's.
It could be. Could be.
Leftovers.
I mean, I'll get him a matching one.
Looks like a cashier at the Louisville Supercuts. Sorry, these comments are great. Thank
Great.
you guys. Thank you guys so much for doing this.
Yeah, it's been
Duns
great.
and Roses. It's been good stuff.
Duns and Roses is a great one. I think we're gonna get a shirt made. A lot of shirts that we've just started to line up. They
Fit?
want made. Yeah, fit. We want a shirt with just the word fit on it.
I feel like we had one recently too.
Duns and
Another
Roses.
one.
They wanted to cue the dupes.
That's what. That's cue the dupes. I
They
knew there was
wanted
one.
that shirt done. So I'm sure that
We'll get it. We'll get on it.
We'll get on it. Some promotions and such. We'll get working on that one when we come back from the holiday weekend. Which I said, my summer begins with being stuck on 7. You had a nice, like, kind of wholesome, like
I was like, yeah, nice. School's over. You can play outside, run through
Yeah.
the sprinklers.
mine was just once I get
Being
upset
stuck
at
in traffic.
Yeah.
All right. Once you get stuck in traffic.
Once I get stuck in traffic, which I will probably later today. But one thing that we're not stuck on, that we're having a good time with,
This is good.
is our all-time Phillies draft here. So
We've got some really good players.
We do. The callers right now, Bob Boone, Jim Thome, Bryson Stott, Jimmy Rollins, Gary Maddox. That's right now where their lineup stands. Still looking to fill in some holes there, and you can jump in at 610-632-0975, talk about this Phillies group, and then get to your pick for the team. Amy, right now you have Darren Dalton, Mike Schmidt, Greg Luzinski, and Von Hayes.
Yeah. I'm old school. It's
You have a
just
chance
crazy.
to make another pick.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go old school in this one again. A Hall of Famer in center field. I'm going Richie Ashburn.
Yeah, I would be honest with you. The fact that Richie Ashburn lasted this long,
Yeah.
uh,
A lot of recency, which I get.
yeah, no, I understand that.
I mean,
but
it's called Ashburn Alley for Pete's sake.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in myself. I will take the blame on this one. This one's squarely on me. I will own this moment. I'm disappointed in me and me only.
Yeah, because you already you took a center fielder. Did you
Uh,
not? No.
No, I did
I
not.
don't have, no, Shane Victorino is who I have. Sorry, that's
Victorino
that's
was
Josh.
taken by Josh.
Sorry.
Yes. So I still need a center fielder.
Sorry.
This is going to be interesting for me to work
Yeah.
my way with Maddox, Ashburn, and Victorino.
They're all gone.
Well, we might run out of time
Yeah.
before I
All
get a
right,
center fielder.
That's okay. That's all right.
Roman Quinn, you're up. Think I was going to go Roman?
I did not think you were going to go Roman Quinn.
Oh. So that puts Josh on the board with the Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Shane Victorino, and Bobby Abreu squad right now.
We got a nice mix of power, speed, and vibes.
Yes.
So who else better to add than John Kruk, who had 10 stolen bases his first season as a Philly? Little known fact. So power, speed, and vibes. And he'll be DH, I guess. It'll be tough to decide, but I thought he fit the bill with what I'm trying to build.
That's
You
great.
do have the next thing you know, he's going to take captain vibes for his catcher.
Yeah. Well, that's
Easy now. Come on. I can lay down a bunt too, Amy.
Oh, that would be great.
All
though.
right.
He would fit with your team, though. It's a good vibe team, though. That's a fun team.
He does bring up a point here. While we do the whole bunting thing with baseball, this has been
Yes.
one of my favorite things of like, oh yeah, they should just lay down a bunt here. I get so annoyed with that. Like, oh yeah, just lay down a bunt. It's tough to do.
Exactly. And the thing is, it's one of those things, and you only say it when it happens, and it's happened. You know that. Oh, that's a good bunt, because a lot of times it's like, oh, what do you do? It didn't do anything. It didn't move the runner over. Nothing. But sometimes you'll see it. The thing that I enjoyed, we saw recently, I've seen it actually twice, is the good swinging bunt. I'm a big fan of that.
Yes.
No,
Well, they kind of
like a
get
slap bunt.
Slap bunt, yeah,
Yeah,
a little bit.
you know what I mean?
And
Like a
that's
little-
and I like
'Cause I
like
feel like
when,
you're more directional that way.
yeah, and I think Stubbs does it.
He does a good job
decent
of that.
job of that.
Yeah.
I think
But yeah,
he
the
knows
bunt.
also his
the only time
limitations as a hitter.
The only time you talk about bunt is when it's been a very successful bunt. Most
Yes.
of the time it's like, oh, they should bunt. Do you know how hard that is?
Or they pop it up into the air, and it's how can this guy not do it? Do they even practice
Yeah.
fundamentals?
We're sitting there sometimes, and we were at a game recently, and someone was saying there was a guy on third. I think actually Alec Boehm was on third. And they're like, oh, they should bunt him home. I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Yes.
You want to bunt him home?
Bunt him home. That's
It might have been Shawnee that said that. I was like, you can't. That's not. No, don't want to. That sounds like a terrible idea. There might have only been like 0 or 1 out. I'm like, okay, so you're gonna get another out just by okay. That's not how that's gonna work.
It's fine. Try your best. On
The
that.
best thing I like about John Kruk, not to go back, but I enjoy that pick because of how he retired from baseball. That is one of my all-time favorite stories ever. He left mid-game. Have you guys heard this?
I don't know if I might have missed this one.
He literally, I can't remember who he was playing with. Somebody. I'll look it up. But he came in. They pinch ran for him. I think it was the 6th inning. And when I say he left the game and he left the stadium and he went home. He was done, and then he retired from baseball.
Is there a man in baseball with any better number of stories than John Kruk?
And we're lucky because we get to hear a lot of them from him on the broadcast, which is wonderful. And then you hear a lot of them otherwise that aren't there. You can repeat them, but maybe it's just not for the broadcast airwaves. But you can tell other people that they've been told. But yeah, his story, it's the most John Kruk thing ever.
Yes.
I will find out the details, but I know it because I remember watching it. It came up recently because he was talking about it, or maybe I was talking about it with him. I can't remember. But he left mid game. He got pinch ran for, and he left the stadium, and that was it. He retired from baseball that instant. Didn't even stay around.
I love that. So he's also
When
gotten
you're out.
He's also gotten to the point of belief where you could tell me any story surrounds John Kruk, and I'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right.
That 93
fits.
team has a lot of stories too. So
That's great. Just get him.
there you go. Yeah,
Where's
retired July 30th, 1995. He went 1 for 1, left the game mid game, just left the stadium. Like he just was completely gone.
That's great.
So then he left. That's where his career batting average finished right at 300. So as soon as he got that hit, I'm out.
I got the story right here.
You have it? Give it to me, Josh.
All right.
Tell me I'm not wrong.
No, you're right. And it's even funnier. So it's manager Terry Bevington said, plan to leave him in a DH so he could go out the way he desired. He wanted to go with a hit. He wanted to wait until he got a hit. So he was playing that first at-bat like it was Game 7 of the World Series. And then he hobbled over to first, was pinch run for, and just went home.
He went home. He didn't just go into the dugout or go relax in the clubhouse and talk to the team afterwards. That gave him 300 for his career. And he went home. I think he's told the story that he watched the end of the game at his house, the game that he played in and started in.
That's great.
It's amazing.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
thank you for pulling up that full
Thank you.
story
I'm
on that
glad.
one.
I couldn't remember the exact details, so I'm so glad you found it.
It says he drove home to West Virginia. I'm trying to
Oh,
find.
he drove to West Virginia.
Yeah.
That's even better.
I'm trying to find where the game was exactly, but man, oh man.
All right,
That's even more of a commitment. I thought he went to his house. He said maybe he listened to it then. Who knows?
I'm going to make my 2 picks around here to continue.
Let's go. We got
on here.
keep on track.
I'm taking JT Realmuto as my catcher.
Okay.
So that'll be the wrap up of the 5th round. So that'll be the 4th pick of the 5th round, and I'm gonna go old school with you, Johnny Callison, as my right fielder. So I'm going quite on the old school with you, but I am going to. I also realized that I need another left-handed bat in this lineup. You know, if I was ever to actually
So you're
play with
really
this
going
lineup.
deep dive here.
Well, I was looking at it. I was like, I drafted
Left-handed
2
bats.
lefties to start.
We're just trying to
and
come
I was
up with
going
humans
right-handed
after a
bats.
while.
Listen, this. If I ever do end up, I think I'm going to invest in a new gaming system with the new NCAA game coming out. If I do end up doing that, I'll end up making this lineup. I'll let you know how it goes through a 162. I think this is a pretty solid group. Not that we don't have all great groups. Not putting you guys down at all.
You kind of are though, and that's okay.
No, I mean I just
We're
like
gonna take the judgment of there.
I like the group.
I'll take.
got.
Yeah, I mean, like now I'm having to look up. These guys aren't even coming to mind anymore because I'm running out of position. So I need. Is it my? No, it's Josh's.
It's
guy.
Josh's pick.
Perfect. Give me a minute.
All right, so it's like the classic catchers are going off the board. Got to get a catcher.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to go Chooch, right? I mean, Carlos Ruiz.
I can't believe you didn't go Captain Vibes, Josh. To be honest.
Don't get me down the rabbit hole on Mr. Captain Vibes over there. Go and jump into the pool, Arizona Diamondbacks.
Come on, really?
I said don't get me going.
It sounded like you got going. It didn't sound like you needed much motivation to bring that one up. I'll just be honest with you. It just sounded like you were ready to rip that one off as soon as we started talking about it. Interesting in this that Lieberthal ends up not one of the catchers.
Yeah, because we mentioned that JT Realmuto has the longest hit streak since Lieberthal in 2004 with 13 games right now. I think Lieberthal is 15. I'll have to look that up to be sure, but 13 straight games that he's had a hit in for one JT Realmuto. Your selection.
My selection. My catcher.
That's a good one.
We are back to you, Amy.
All right, I just looked at my infield. I'm going to take Juan Samuel for second base.
Ooh, there you go. I like that pick. But also still wanting to stay in the 20th century.
I'm running out of people.
Oh, it's okay.
Well, I couldn't even take the current. You took Chase, and I couldn't even take the current second baseman.
Listen, no one's
Caller
coming
took-
after you here. I mean, Cesar Hernandez was available. You did pass on
Cesar Hernandez.
No Freddie Galvis there.
Oh,
Freddie Galvis.
Or Freddie Galvis. Oh, it's good times.
All right, so we got back-to-back
I
callers.
mean, a shortstop coming up.
We
Okay.
got back-to-back callers. The callers have Bob Boone, Jim Tomey, Bryson Stott, Jimmy Rollins, Gary Maddox, Amy right now, Darren Dalton, Juan Samuel, Mike Schmidt, Greg Luzinski, Richie Ashburn, and Von Hayes, Josh, Carlos Ruiz, Bryce Harper, Trey Turner, Shane Victorino, Bobby Abreu, and John Kruk. He made the Kruk pick not because he loves everything about John Kruk, which we all do, but because he wanted to prove that he does know something happened before the year 2000. And I went with JT Realmuto, Chase Utley, Scott Rowland, Dick Allen, Johnny Callison, and Ryan Howard so far. So that's your wrap-up of all of them so far. Let's go to South Philly. Talk with Michael at 610-632-0975. Michael, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
Hey,
How are
Michael.
you?
Yeah, I'm good. You're talking about this all-time team, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this guy, I met him, in a bar at the Irish pub one night, and he was just like a really good dude, but I used to love to watch his at-bats. He'd always have 2 strikes and somehow work a walk or hit a home run or whatever, but Pat Burrell in left field.
At the bat. Good
At
one.
the bat. I love that pick.
Very
Michael,
nice pick, Michael.
we appreciate you checking in with the pick. Appreciate you making
Yeah,
that
have a
one.
good
That's
weekend.
Solid Pat Burrell pick
Pat
right there.
Burrell. Okay.
Pat Burrell was a name I was hoping was going to last. It's coming back around.
Pat the bat.
Did not happen. I mean, I guess I got to stop hoping things wrap around here because every time I say that, they end up
Then
getting
then
picked.
they
Callers,
don't.
callers right here. Pat Burrell. It's a nice left fielder. So still got a third baseman, right fielder, and a DH to fill out for.
Yeah.
So they're
Kind
getting
of slim pickings. Well, don't give yours away,
No, of course not.
fella.
I'm not giving anything away. I'm locked in. I'm thinking we might have to drop the DH from these lineups, but that would also
Yes.
make it very defensively difficult for Josh. We might have to send Harper to the outfield.
Like Josh has like 3 DHs.
Josh actually
He was like,
is-
maybe I'll put John Kruk there. Maybe I'll put Bryce Harper there. Maybe you have like 5 DHs. I love it.
Josh was actually consulting the Phillies in the 2022 offseason where it was
All
like, yeah, we can
DHs.
just all sign DHs.
It's fine.
It's fine. It'll be fine.
As long as they hit, that's all that matters.
All right, let's keep with the callers here at 610-632-0975 because Nick wants to jump in a little bit about Kruk, but also he's going to give us a pick. Nick, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Hey, guys, how you doing today?
Hey,
Good.
Nick.
I was giving a call actually just to try to clarify that Kruk story. If you guys ever get a chance, go on YouTube. He was on Letterman like 5 or 6 times just because he has a great personality. And he tells his story about his last at bat. He did get it. He got to 300 and came out of the game, got a pinch runner. And then he just walked right out of the clubhouse, hopped in the car, drove back to West Virginia. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Letterman asked him if his team wins or not. And typical Kruk, he kind of just shrugs his shoulders and like, I don't know.
He might actually not have known.
I would doubt he
I don't
did.
think he did.
That's amazing. I was thinking he had listened to it. Or maybe he just, maybe he didn't.
Yeah, if you get to that point, it's like, I'm hitting 300. My career's
My
over.
career's
I'll
over.
root
I've
for you
retired.
guys the rest of the way.
Good job. I'll see you tomorrow on television. That's amazing. He is just the best. I'm gonna have to ask him, see if he actually remembers.
All right, Nick, real quick. You got a third baseman, a right fielder to add to this caller lineup.
A lot of good ones are already out of it.
Yeah.
Maybe just stick with the 93 and go with Hollins.
All
right.
right. How about that? Go Hollins. Nick, we appreciate you checking in with us. Dave Hollins action for us.
Doesn't love a good Dave Hollins.
There we go. So that's going to wrap the callers up for a little bit and for what we anticipate. I think maybe in the last segment we'll get the last
Yeah.
pick from the callers to get a right fielder for
Also,
them.
YouTube wants to get in there.
YouTube wants these YouTube people.
Yeah.
We've made a lot of the show today. We've really helped. Oh, geez, they're still ripping me here.
Yes,
Nah,
sorry.
you know what? When you guys learn how
Yeah,
to be
sorry.
nice, I'll come
I was
back.
trying to
and-
fight for you.
No,
Sorry.
I'll read it. I'll end up reading
We'll
it.
see.
This is good. But so Dave Hollins goes there as your 7-1, first pick of the 7th round. Amy, it goes back to you.
I need a first baseman. I'm going to take Pete Rose.
Oh, all right. Going Pete
Not
Rose.
known as well for his Phillies time, but
No.
a Philly nonetheless.
And one of the people that, when they talk about that 80 team, getting him the edge,
Yes,
the winning.
he was the key cog to put them over the edge. A lot of people will say the Moses Malone of that Phillies team.
Yes.
Will say. right, so I think that's my infield.
You're still
I'm down to.
need a
I have no DA. Oh, I need a
shortstop.
shortstop.
Yes.
Okay, I'm
Josh?
gonna have to start looking these up.
So you said
running out of
Pete
people.
Rose was like the Moses Malone, a guy that we kind of thought might have been the Moses Malone at the time. Raul Ibanez to finish out my outfield.
How
All
about
right.
that? Now he really
That's a
made
nice
it
player.
difficult because if we take away a designated hitter, I don't know where Kruk and Harper are going to play. It's going to be a weird
Listen, he's
infield.
got all these DHs.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
We'll figure it
We'll
out.
figure it out. We might change the parameters midway through. All right, so that brings me up, and I'm still looking. If I move Howard to first base, that gives me a shortstop and a center fielder to look for. And I'm going to be honest with you. Finding the center fielder is going to be I might cheat the system and move a guy in from right field
all
to
right,
center field. Good luck, Jason. Good luck, Jason Worth out
Yeah.
there. You go figure. You go. I know you were great in right field. I'm gonna force.
Because I
you
almost
into my
chose him
outfield.
for my right fielder.
Yeah, I'm gonna force him into center field action. We'll just pretend like that's gonna work for me.
All right.
I'll be good defensively though, because I'll take Boa as my shortstop. Yeah.
That's the only thing I needed in my. That's why you knew what I needed in my infield.
That's exactly why I knew it was. I knew Boa
my
was
God.
not getting back to me.
No, it was not. Larry Boa was going to
So-
be my guy.
For me, JT, Howard, Utley, Rowland, Boa, Allen, Worth, Galson. Not bad. Not bad. I also thought about Aaron Rowe in there in center field just for the catch, but I think Worth means Worth. I love Worth for what he is. I also feel like I made the 180 back. When I was young and he signed
Yes.
with the Nationals, it was like, how could this guy do this? And now I'm like older and I'm like, money
Of course
speaks.
he did.
Yeah.
$120 million.
I could see that decision being made that way. All right, Josh. Second baseman or third baseman for us?
It's getting tough out here. It's getting tough, and I'm going to continue my recency bias. Alec freaking Bohm, man. Just talk about a guy to drive in all these guys getting on base. Give it to me, Bohmer.
All
Okay.
right.
That's a good one.
We got Bohm.
He loves this place now.
He does.
Does love it.
I wish I could have gotten a giveaway, but it's okay.
I'm sorry, you didn't get the giveaway?
The T-shirt.
Yeah.
That was for.
I love this place?
Yeah, I know. I wanted it. That was for the.
You don't think they might be laying around the ballpark. See if we can't find you one.
All right, sounds good.
All right, so that's it. No, we're not. We're back to me.
No, it's back to you.
Shortstop. I had to look this one up because there are not a lot out there. I'm going to take Steve Jeltz.
All right, Steve Jeltz. I believe, if I recall, that was Kevin Cooney's favorite player off the bench for the Phillies. If
Really?
you want to go to our Instagram? We were talking best bench players of Phillies history. Obviously, mine was John Mayberry Jr. Boom, second John Mayberry Jr. reference dropped this show. You guys didn't think I could work him back
John
in.
Mayberry doesn't talk about John Mayberry this much.
Yep.
It's my favorite. There's people that are Googling him right now.
My fantasy team name is the John Mayberries.
Is it really?
Yes.
That's perfect.
Yes. If you want to ever question how weird I am, I know this YouTube chat doesn't have to question how weird I am, but if anyone else wants to question,
That's one of those jerseys I don't see. When you're at the game, you see a lot of kind of obscure jerseys. I've seen Don Brown ones because of what he was for that Phillies team. You don't see a lot of Mayberries.
I have a Mayberry jersey.
All right, well then, if I see one, I'll know exactly where you're sitting.
Yeah, you know exactly where I
can't
am.
imagine that you find a lot of company.
My brother, again, another
See, the
birthday.
man knows what's what. He knows what's a good gift for you.
He knows how to give for me, for everyone. He's one of the best people I know at. All right, we come back. It's the last week report. And if you have not been with us through this, I believe this is the 5th or 6th last week report. This segment is just.
It's come onto a mind of it, or it's a thing of its own.
Yeah, it's just ever evolving. It's a thing that continues to figure itself out. It has to do a lot with the fact that we don't quite speak well all the time. That's really what it comes down to. And I say we. This is a show effort, okay? This
Don't
is
speak
not
so good sometimes.
This is not a segment to target anyone that is a part of this show. And the fact that it's developed that reputation through a few weeks has been a disgrace, frankly. Okay? I don't want this to come across as we're attacking anyone that's a member of this show. I want to remind you I'm in for Bob Cooney today. So just as we roll with this, Bob Cooney will be with us in maybe a few days whenever he decides to stop vacationing, partying, whatever.
I mean, it's probably going to be June.
Yeah, he did promise me that he would tune in at least for the last week report.
We shall see if that comes to fruition.
Will he be happy with it? Who's to say? Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn, in for Bob Cooney here on Middays 97.5 The Fanatic. Oh, you'll be hearing from Bob Cooney shortly.
Yes, you will.
Not that he's calling in or actually participating in the show. He's off on his, world travels. I heard the Mediterranean was the most recent stop.
Yeah.
Yep.
On his world cruise that he's on.
Yes. So
for the entire year.
Yep.
Good luck, Bob.
Again, we said it. When you work in this industry for 105 years, you accrue a lot of vacation time. You could just use it for a long weekend.
Banked it all.
Yeah. So he's enjoying the holiday weekend. I hope you all are as well. I hope we're not taking you through too much traffic right now. I know for some people, it's just going to be the nature of
Just
today.
the thing.
You battle today. You enjoy the weekend.
You'll make it through. It'll be good stuff.
You'll make it through. I hope wherever you're going, or maybe this weekend you're not getting a chance to do it. I hope at some point you get to kick off your summer and enjoy it. We're kicking it off for you here on this Friday. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn, in for the wonderful Bob Cooney. And this has become a staple of the Middays program. And by a staple, I mean we've been on the air of this Middays program probably for about 2 months at this point, and for just over half of that time, this has been a part of the program.
Yes.
So it's a staple in the sense of as much of a staple as it could be.
I like it, though. I'm glad that it's a staple.
Well, it was just one of those things. I found myself, Bob and I can laugh at each other and laugh at ourselves. And I found the two of us correcting each other on things, misspoke, misspeaks.
Either way.
I'm fine because this segment's about to start, so it's not going to make it this week.
It's not going to make this week's report.
And ain't nobody cutting this for next week because I'm going to be up and out of here. So without further ado, this is the last week report. So the way this one works for everyone, we take the moments of the week where we screw up, and much like the NBA has the last 2-minute report, we are reporting on mistakes made, because the last 2-minute report only makes news when there's a mistake. Really, nobody's like, wow, what a great call. Nobody ever does that. So for that reason, we have none of the, wow, what a great point that we made this week. We just have some mistakes made. Speaking of the NBA, Bob, earlier this week on Monday, attempted to talk about the Western Conference semifinal matchup that he was watching the night before, and it was tough to listen to.
As I was watching the end of the Dallas Mavericks, the Denver Nuggets and the Dallas Mavericks last night. Wait,
Minnesota
I'm all
Timberwolves.
messed up.
Yeah, Timberwolves
Minnesota
and Nuggets.
Timberwolves and the Nuggets.
8 o'clock. So I wanted this for the segment.
He couldn't find the team at all.
No. And that was the point. Behind the curtain here, I'll let him fumble around for the sake of this segment.
Yeah.
At some point, it became like, all right, we got to get Bob on the track here and talk about it.
Figure out what you saw.
Yes. Something he saw a number of years ago was Eagles-Giants, talking about that 2017 season. He mentioned the wonderful performance by the quarterback for the Giants in that game. The quarterback was...
And then they played the Giants at home. And I remember this game. It was a Peyton Manning game.
Not quite.
That would have been a whole different cup of tea.
Peyton Manning had a great game in that one. And after he said Peyton Manning played in that game, Bill decided to commend Bob on his memory.
And good memory, Bobby.
No, he didn't.
Bill.
Come on.
I'm looking at you. You're sitting out there getting ready to come on there at 2 o'clock. Come on.
Come on. Not great memory. You got the wrong Manning.
You got the wrong Manning, brother. Come on. What are we doing here? Speaking of quarterbacks and messing up with their names, Bob might not know which team in town's the football team.
You can't say Patrick Mahomes. The Phillies are locked into Jalen Hurts.
Phillies are locked into Jalen Hurts.
Not quite.
I hope
Not. It would be the Eagles on that one. Bob, well, I'm sorry. This just keeps going down the Bob rabbit hole. Talk about building teams. Luke Cornett, when was he drafted?
Luke Cornett comes off the bench. Guy from Vanderbilt that was taken 28th overall back in the 90.
Luke Cornett.
The 90. If the guy is being drafted in anything that starts with a 9, we're in trouble. Not. And also, find out exactly what happened with Luke Cornett.
Luke Cornett, he was undrafted, correct?
Exactly.
Yes.
That's the best part.
Undrafted, born in 1995. We love you, Bob.
Undrafted.
So this one isn't even him misspeaking. This is Bob. He's been here quite a bit for a while here. When his segment starts, to re-engage yourself on the air, you have to turn on your microphone. Amy, you saw this one.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Hey, welcome back. I'm going to try that with the mic on this time.
He was talking for a bit.
He delivered the greatest open to a segment you never heard. Now, we mentioned JT Realmuto's hitting streak. What's more impressive is JT Realmuto apparently is winning games all by himself.
And I think he likes it there also. He's got a 12-game winning streak.
All by himself.
All by himself.
And the last one here today, and we love you, Bob.
Poor Bob.
He's gonna kill me. Going back to the quarterbacks, Bob, who plays quarterback for the Eagles?
And this is what he had to say about Jalen Hurts to start off.
Hurts.
Josh Hart, Jalen Hurts.
And that is your last week
That's
report
good stuff.
for this past week. Honestly, we were a little light. Only 8 different this week.
Pretty good.
7 of them done by Bob Cooney. The 8th was Bill's mistake by saying that Bob had a good memory.
After he called him Peyton Manning.
Yeah. Great memory on that one, Bob. Not quite on that one, but we love you, Bob.
It would have been very memorable if Peyton Manning played for those. Not that Eli did a poor job. Won him 2 Super Bowls. So
No.
just if we're ranking the Mannings, that's not how that goes.
No, that's not how that goes. Though they both have the same number of rings, and you could argue that Eli in his 2 Super Bowls greater performances than that of Peyton in his.
You could. Okay, yes, Eli Manning beat a better opposing quarterback, or faced a better opposing quarterback, or his team faced a better opposing quarterback than Rex Grossman
Right.
for the Bears when Peyton won his first.
Which also, no, you know what? We'll save that for later this
That's
summer.
a good one. We'll
save
those later.
Yeah.
It was the best worst Super Bowl.
No, I have a similar conversation about the Bears and quarterbacks and a certain quarterback that gets a pass for. Never mind. We'll get into it
Oh,
at
I'm
some
excited
point
to
later.
hear
Yeah,
that.
has to do with the guy that plays for the Jets right now. But we'll get into that.
Okay.
We'll talk about him at some point. That's a tease for like later
That
this
is.
summer.
That's like something like a July. Come tune in July.
Listen every day for me to start the conversation.
You never know when this conversation might spring up.
You really don't.
You don't want to miss a day.
The Eli Manning thing for me was funny listening to him talk about it because, I know that Eli Manning was still quarterback in the league for that 2017 Eagles team, and like that he was still around. But Eli Manning for me, I think the 2014-15,
It's like that was it.
Right around when Peyton called it quits, like when Peyton Manning
You
was.
just assume that his brother was also done.
Yeah, when Brock Osweiler and Peyton Manning were going into a quarterback competition, that's when I was like,
That's it. We're retiring
the whole Manning family is just
They're all
done.
out.
They're all out.
They're all done.
I can't believe that Brock Osweiler. Never mind. Sports things I'll never understand. Brock Osweiler and
At
that.
all.
Yeah.
There's yeah, you mentioned that earlier. We could have a draft of most obscure Phillies. I think you could have most obscure starting quarterbacks in the NFL
Yes.
because there's guys that people were high on. Oh, this guy he's going to be the next big thing, and then you couldn't be more wrong.
He was not.
We'll do the process era Sixers at some point.
We
too.
will do. We'll do that game. I also think that Nick Foles is the most successful tall quarterback I think I've seen. I think Nick Foles at 6'6" maxes
He's
out.
the guy for the Broncos. I think he's still in the league.
Paxton Lynch was 6'7".
Okay.
Brock Osweiler was 6'7".
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of Paxton Lynch.
You might be thinking because that was what sealed it for me because John Elway had a type. He liked 6'7" quarterbacks that were not actually
Well,
good.
in theory, you want that was always the knock against Drew Brees, right? You're not tall enough to see
Right.
over. Okay, Drew Brees, pretty nice career. I mean, let's be
not
honest,
bad.
he's a Hall of Famer. So it's funny. Drew Brees is always one of those guys that when you talk about top 10 quarterbacks of all time, he doesn't come up in the conversation, though he probably should.
Yeah, he definitely should. I don't know why.
It's like people forget
He's
him.
overlooked.
He is overlooked. Well, the hey-oh, there's the rim shot.
That's where.
But yeah,
we're
so that was
at in today's
that's the
show.
tag of like, oh, that's why you need a tall guy back there under center so he can see over it. No, you don't. You just need a guy who can check down, read through his progressions, and then find the open man and get him the ball. That's literally it.
Yeah. How many
Seems so
prototypical
simple.
quarterbacks have stunk? This guy's got all the.
Oh,
all
he's
you're
got all
looking
the
for.
intangibles.
All the attributes. Can he play?
Well, look at Todd
quarterback?
Marinovich was a prime example of that. Didn't do anything. I think he surfs now. Hangs out in California.
Good for him.
Good
After
for him.
seeing San Diego, you know what?
He's out there.
Would I rather be a superstar quarterback or a surfer in San Diego? 610.
Call now. It's the holiday weekend, everybody.
It's the holiday week. This is, again, the John Mayberry diatribe. This is what happens when I sit in this chair. I apologize in
You
advance.
shouldn't. Listen, I'm dropping, real bits of Panther out there.
Yeah.
So we got all kinds of
So,
stuff.
An elite reference. All right, when we come back, we're going to wrap up this entire program. We're going to bring it all together. We'll read the final
I cannot
roster.
wait to bring how are we going to bring this program together? You're going to do it, and I'm excited to see it.
Or I'm just going to say, hey, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Do we all have one more pick?
I mean, technically, in all technicality, we do.
Oh.
We will give. Oh, the caller's got to get a right fielder.
Okay.
Caller's got to get a right
Or
fielder.
texters.
Or texters. We will take a text on this one. We're going to force someone. John Kruk's going to play second base for Josh's team because the DH.
It's all DH.
We decided to drop the DH midway through. We'll get to it. We'll have fun with you guys to wrap it up here, and we'll give you our final lineups, a little bit of the summer fun, and then tell you.
And then you're off to the shore, and hope everybody else has a good weekend.
And maybe mentally. Alongside Amy Fadul, I'm Ray Dunn. You're tuned into Middays here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Back. Middays here on 97.5 The Fanatic. I'm Ray Dunn alongside Amy Fadul in for Bob Cooney. It was taken well-earned.
Well-earned. Well, when you've been in the business 117 years,
Correct.
you bank a lot of vacation time.
We didn't pose the question about the best summer of Phillies fandom with him because we were afraid that he might have an 1800s reference for us that we didn't grab. So,
back when, Grover Cleveland was
well, it's funny.
playing.
I heard that he did write the sidebar on the Grover Cleveland Alexander start.
I was talking to my son about that, and I said something about Grover Cleveland Alexander, and he's like, "Mom, he's a president." I'm like, "Aha, he is, but he is also a Phillies baseball player." He looked at me like I had two heads. He's like, "Did you see him?" "No, I didn't see him." Good Lord.
He did not ask.
No, he did. He has no idea. For him, Grover Cleveland Alexander could have played in 1994. He has no idea.
No, I know.
1800s, 19. That's like there's those things out there. I think it's on TikTok too, and they're like, "Oh, I grew up in the 1900s," because it's the 2000s.
Right.
They're like, "Yep, that's us. Grew up in the 1900s."
Oh, yeah, I love the movie things. I think The Sandlot, they said that came out 31 years ago, and it was set at a time 31 years prior.
That's crazy.
So, like, we're officially as many
further,
years away from the release as they wanted the time to be away from when it was.
Which seems like, the 50s.
Yeah.
Seems like it's not that long ago for some people, and yet here we are.
Here we are.
70s plus years ago.
What a world.
I love it.
What a world. We've gotten into a lot today. And the reason we're talking about this kind of all-time and talking about some history because we made our all-time teams. And I want to get to Bob is hanging on. Not Bob Cooney.
No.
Okay? No.
Iowa Bob.
Yeah, Iowa Bob. We're going to get to in a second.
Which is what we could call Bob Cooney, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, he's a massive Iowa fan.
Yes.
Massive Iowa fan. He's been watching them for years. We want to get to the Fanatic Deal of the Week here. Because
Yes.
I want to let you know about Maurice Pier and to check this out. So it's our Deal of the Week this week. You have until, I believe, Sunday or until it sells out, which it will because if you're driving down right now and you're like, what am I doing with my weekend? What could I possibly do? If you're going to a town near and dear to my heart, Wildwood, New Jersey.
Love Wildwood.
Maurice Pier is our Deal of the Week. And for a limited time only, get a same-day ride and water park ticket to Maurice Pier for just $70. That's $50 savings per ticket for unlimited rides on 3 piers and both water parks for a whole day. Get this exclusive offer while supplies last at 975thefanatic.com/deals.
Well done.
Now, I'll tell you, that water park idea, Lazy River, kind of calling my name.
Yeah, we were talking about, did we ask you your favorite, like a water, Lazy River is an underrated ride. Because it's not really a ride, it's just an experience.
It's underrated in everything. I think it might be the best thing in the boardwalk.
Lazy River, like, it's
wonderful.
You can have your beverage at the same time.
So I'm going somewhere this summer, and I found out that at the place we're staying, there is a lazy river, and I'm sorry to my family.
Yeah, I'll be at the Lazy River.
I'll catch you at the airport. I will be at the lazy river. I might sleep in the lazy river. Just float.
You get like the 2 tubes, right? You can get the one, and then you put your feet on the other tube.
Yep. I might get
It's
one.
like a
of those
reclining
Yeah,
situation.
I'll get a big float for at night because no one else is going to be there.
That's right.
It'll just be me sleeping on the lazy river. So
There you go.
I think that's what I'm looking forward to.
Lazy River stuff.
Does the summer start until you get on the lazy river for the first time?
Maurice has those.
Maurice has them, and you can get it $70. It's a $50 saving. You get $70 same day ride and water park ticket to Maurice Pier. I love it. All right. Also, what I love, these all-time teams. We got to get a right fielder for the callers.
Yes.
The final pick of this draft. We're going to Iowa. Talk with Bob. Bob, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Thanks a lot, man. You bringing me back. Out here in Iowa, I lived in Seaside Heights. I worked on the boardwalk when I was a teenager. I got to remember, right fielder, did anyone say Gary Lee Maddox or Gary Matthews?
We'll get you Gary Matthews in there.
It was actually, ironically, Bob, the very first pick from the callers was Gary Maddox, I believe.
Oh,
so you're
I'm
good one.
very
So we'll give you Sarge. We'll give you Gary Matthews.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. I listen to this show every freaking day out here, and it's great. Thanks a lot for bringing me back, okay?
I appreciate it, Bob. Thanks for checking in with us every day. From
Seaside
Iowa.
Heights guy.
Yeah, it's great.
Working the boardwalk.
I imagine today for like people, and I know we do have.
Yeah, now that would be a bummer. I'm sure he loves his life out there in Des Moines, but if you grew up going to the shore and going to the boardwalk, this is a prime time to go for it, and you don't get to experience that anymore.
Yeah, this is one of those days for me that I think about, because, getting into this industry, and I'm sorry that it's a little personal, but we're getting the last couple minutes here. But getting in this industry, I was always like, moving away the whole thing. This is one of those weekends where I'd be like, I just want to be home.
You just want to go to the shore.
I just want to go to the shore. I was a shore guy. I was shoresman.
Shoresman.
I grew up going to the shore. That was a thing that
And
we
here
did
you
all
are,
the time. About to go to the
in
shore.
your ripe old age.
Yes.
Still going to the shore. Still made it happen.
Yes. I mean, my nights have changed a little bit at the shore since then.
For a lot of people.
Yeah. But I'm enjoying the new era of.
All right. The new era of the shoresman Ray.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it. I hope to see everyone down there this weekend. I
would imagine a lot of people are. A lot of people I think are probably there.
Yes. I know. I think Tyrone today was up at Keenan's for WMMRs down there. Preston Steve had their nice little
Keenan's.
kickoff.
That's a great spot. That's a great spot. You love Keenan's, I can tell.
I might be a few hours away.
You love Keenan's.
Speaking of hours, this 1 o'clock hour brought to you by Ferguson HVAC Lyon Conklin. Attention HVAC contractors for equipment, parts, and supplies for every heating and cooling job. Visit one of Ferguson's counter locations in Ben Salem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. Amy, this has been fun.
It's a lot of fun.
I enjoyed doing this. I was glad you hung out with us on this Friday. Like
Thanks
I said,
for having me.
They were like, Amy's coming out. Amy.
Yep. Well, I know I walked in and Andrew was like, I didn't know Amy was here. I don't know how. He didn't look at the grid. That's
so
okay.
These guys don't look at the schedule.
It's okay. And usually I kind of set it. I sometimes I send it out beforehand, but I think today I sent it out even later than I normally do that I'm going to be on.
No, don't take blame for this.
I'm just trying
if
to
I'm going
help
to fire
Andrew
away
out.
shots in the last minute of me being on the air today before a long weekend, Andrew's already 6 beers into the beach day, I'm sure. He got done so long ago, he's probably not even listening. Andrew, Kincade, I understand, not checking the schedule because he's been so many years where he's had his time slot, whether it be here or
he
Atlanta.
Just shows up.
He knows it. Andrew, not that long ago, hosted on the weekends, also worked his way through, being a producer here, the whole thing. His schedule was constantly changing. Just a little glance.
Yeah, just give it a glance. Hey, who might be on? Who might be doing? Because we knew who was on for the best show ever, right?
Yeah. We knew that.
We're well aware.
We're well aware. Yeah,
which is coming up momentarily.
Yeah, Andrew went big time. That's what I took
fine.
from that.
No big deal.
I don't look at the schedule anymore. What's the deal with this guy? All right. But anyway, speaking of looking at the schedule, Bill Colarulo, Tom Alvord coming your way next, along with Silvana Keller, getting you ready for my drive, at least. I know what I'm listening to on the way down the shore. Josh, thank you so much
Thanks,
today.
Josh.
I appreciate it. Amy, this was a lot of fun.
I'll see you guys next week.
See you guys next week. You've been tuning in to the Midday Show here on 97.5 The Fanatic.